podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the premier radio networks on Saturday, April 9th, 2022. This is episode 1883. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by Melissa. The U.S. Postal Service processes more than 98,000 address changes every day. Make sure your customer contact data is up to date. Try Melissa's APIs in the developer portal. It's easy to log on, sign up, and start playing in the API sandbox 24/7. Get started today with 1,000 records clean free at melissa.com/twit. Whoa, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Time to get cracking on the Tech Guy issues. Release the Kraken. 8888 Ask Leo's the number. Tech Guy 2 is here. Mr. Mikah Sargent. We missed you last week.
Yeah, happy to be back.
It's good to have you.
Yeah.
Did you leave your collar somewhere while you were gone? You just like go on vacation and they took your collar?
I became a granddad and now I wear granddad collars.
I love it. The young people today, yeah, you wear the collars that the old folks used to wear.
We've switched.
You've switched. You've swapped. We are here to talk tech for you, not fashion. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number if you want to do that. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Outside that area, you can still reach me by Skype or something like that. Reach us. You just have to use Skype out. And it should still be free because it's a toll-free number in the U.S. 8888 Ask Leo. I usually start the show with news just to get you in the mood. I don't know how that would get you in the mood. Maybe it'd get you out of the mood, more likely. Because the big news this week, you covered it on your Tech News Weekly show. Elon Musk bought, unbeknownst to us, between January and March of this year, slowly, inch by inch, paying cash. When they say pay cash, I kind of imagine him sidling up to a window and doling out some bucks. I have a share of Twitter. But using cash, bought a significant, like $3 billion worth of Twitter, which turns out to be 9% of the company. He is now the largest shareholder of Twitter. Now, most of the people, Micah, I should tell you, who listen to this show are not Twitter users.
Right.
In fact, most people are not Twitter users. It's part of the problem Twitter's facing is that it never got the popularity of Facebook or even of TikTok, I think.
Exactly.
It's kind of a specialized tool used by different groups of people. Tech geeks, journalists have loved Twitter. In fact, Twitter has an outsized importance in culture because, all the news people are on it. And as a result, anything gets tweeted, that's a story. Especially when the last president was in office, because he would use that to make proclamations, right? Elon Musk is also a very well-known Twitter user and kind of a troll in a weird way. He uses Twitter in all sorts of weird ways to announce things. He's gotten in trouble with the Securities and Exchange Commission, for instance, saying he's going to take Tesla, his car company, private at wink, wink, what was it, $42 a share? No, yeah, $420 a share. Mm-hmm. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. SEC said, really? And he said, well, no, I didn't really have. It said in his tweet, funding in place. No, I didn't really have funding in place. I just, of course, the stock went up, which meant his value went up. He's done that before with cryptocurrencies as well. So he's kind of, that's kind of shady activity. It's a pump and dump, they call it in the stock market, where you flog a stock, especially if you seem to have insider knowledge. Everybody buys it up, then you sell quickly and make a profit. He could have sold Twitter quickly and made a profit as soon as it came out. He finally filed last week that he actually had done this. Even his filing was messed up, by the way. And illegal in some respects. But he filed, and Twitter stock went up 27%. If he'd sold it, he would have made a cool $1 billion profit. But he didn't, and that's interesting. I think he wants to. I think, he might want to own Twitter. It's not unusual if a stockholder comes and buys up that much of a company that they make that person the CEO.
Except now he thinks Twitter's dying. Did you see this latest news?
This is another troll post.
Exactly.
He's asking the question.
Such a troll.
He's a troll poll. He's asked, is Twitter dying? But that's really not. I think what he's trying to get is an excuse to take it different ways. It's certainly scared Twitter employees, so much so, and this is unprecedented, that they brought Elon Musk in to talk to the employees at an all-hands meeting. What? So the information, and I think others are saying, this is a process. They put him on the board. He got a board seat, probably in a defensive measure, because board members cannot try to take over the company. They're prohibited from taking over the company, which is not to say he couldn't quit the board and then 3 minutes later take over the company. I think that's his goal, is he wants to run Twitter. And I think that they may end up making him CEO just to keep him from buying up the rest of the company. And again, I don't think most people care, except that Twitter does have this outsized importance in our culture, in our society, and particularly in journalism. So people are a little concerned about what this... Now, and the other thing that's so strange about Elon, you got to admire him for what he's done with SpaceX. Today, SpaceX put astronauts into the space station, the first tourist astronauts in the space station.
Was that today?
Well, they launched a couple of days ago, and they're in the space station now.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that's 4 all private astronauts. They say, well, they're not space tourists. They're doing experiments. They're space tourists. They paid for the right to put these guys out there. The trip was put together by a company called Axiom Space. They're a startup that's booking rides with SpaceX for anyone who can afford it. Afford it? Yeah, we don't know how much because they don't say, but it's millions. Got to be millions, right? So, they've done this before a couple of months ago. Remember, they orbited some tourists. Now they're going to be on the space station for 8 days. They will conduct science. So they're not,
we will conduct science.
They're going to have dinner with the professional astronauts. That's part of the deal. On board the football field-sized space station and enjoy sweeping views of our home planet. One of them's an actual NASA astronaut, Michael Lopez Alegria. He's been in space 4 times before with NASA. Joined Axiom. And so he's going. Maybe he's like Captain Kirk. He's like taking them. I don't know. He must be the pilot. Previously, we don't know how much because they won't say. But previously disclosed prices $55 million a seat. So you can imagine the other 3 guys are millionaires, billionaires, probably. Real estate tycoon Larry Connor, 72, from Dayton, Ohio. Let's meet our contestants. Former shipping CEO Mark Pathy, 52, from Canada. And from Israel, Eitan Stibbe, he's 64, an Israeli businessman. Former fighter pilot. So these guys, this is the ultimate billionaire thing to do, right?
I mean, yeah, what else can you do?
What else can you do? You can build a sailboat or
go
to space. So Elon did that. And, I don't know. I have such mixed feelings about Elon. Tesla is the most successful car company in the United States at this point. Just incredible success story. So I don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say about Elon. Oh, we don't talk about Elon. Let's see what else is going on. There was a great piece by the wonderful Taylor Lawrence in the Washington Post about how internet, she calls it algo speak, is changing our language. So it has to do with censorship, mostly on TikTok, where if you say a word like dead on TikTok, they will downrank your video or even block it. So instead, TikTokers will say unalive, right? A lot of the stuff is for sexual kind of things. But it started with COVID. TikTok didn't want a lot of COVID misinformation, so they were blocking the word COVID. So people on TikTok began referring to it as the Backstreet Boys reunion tour. I don't know why. I don't know why. Sex workers on TikTok call themselves accountants.
Okay.
Instead of using the word porn, you can't use the word porn, so they use the emoji for corn. You have to learn these. This is the language of TikTok. They use the sunflower emoji to signify Ukraine. Instead of saying link in bio, because apparently TikTok not crazy about that, they'll say blink in Lio. And it fools the algorithm because it's just a computer, right?
I saw someone hold up. They said, follow me on these platforms. And they held up, instead of saying, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter, they just held up a sheet of paper that had their information on it so that the algorithm didn't downrank them talking about a different platform.
I figure it's always a cat and mouse game.
Yeah.
Like TikTok's going to figure it out.
Figuring out.
The last year, anti-vaccine groups, happens elsewhere on Facebook, began changing their names to Dance Party or Dinner Party. Anti-vaccine influencers on Instagram, same thing, referring to vaccinated people as swimmers. You're a swimmer. I could tell. You look like a swimmer. I mean, this has gone on forever, but it's very interesting. And it's to me, it's interesting because you have to learn these. If you do TikTok, I think I'm not telling regular TikTokers anything new because they know this, right? And you can't say, or you might have run into trouble if you say LGBTQ. So they say leg booty. Right? Because that's kind of what it spells out, leg booty.
Got it.
I'm just helping you.
Nip-nops.
Nip-nops instead of nipples. Nip-nops. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know if I can say nipples on the radio, actually.
I was just wondering
so I should just
myself.
say nip-nops.
Nip-nops.
From now on, if we say nip-nops...
we say nip-nops.
8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. No, there's only 7 words we can't say. We're much more liberal than TikTok. 8888 Ask Leo. Leo Laporte, Mikah, Sargent. We're going to take your calls. The Tech Guy, too, right after this. Doobie-doobie-doo. Yes, I was showing Mikah. Mikah has elected, despite my admonitions, to learn Python for his first programming language, which is actually a good idea. But I brought in, because I told him, oh no, learn Lisp. This is the book, one of many, but this is a good book from Paul Graham that covers the entire language.
And it's a nice size.
Nice size.
Sort of biblical.
400 pages.
Could take it with you.
Yeah. Long out of print. This is kind of a rarity. Compared that to the 2 kind of definitive volumes on Python.
Oh
I can't even lift this.
Bigger than a phone book.
Programming Python. That is like the reference work. And it's got 1,543 pages. Of course, I should say this came from an era when computer books sold better if they were bigger. And this is learning Python. 5th edition.
And combined.
This one's also 1,500 pages, so 3,000 pages. But I bought these because I decided if Mikah can do it, I can do it. I've written a lot of Python code in my day, but it was the old Python. That's the other problem I have with Python. It's Python 2.7. And now we're in the Python 3 world. So I had to get updated versions. Somewhere my other Python book is here. I
see a couple of Pythons.
Yeah,
Programming Python.
Yeah, there's the Perl cookbook. There it is, Python cookbook.
Python.
The problem is that's all out of date because it's all Python 2.
Don't touch that Python.
Programming Python for the internet was the book that was, for me, a breakthrough book. Man, that's when I really got Python, was with that one, CGI scripts and stuff like that. But unfortunately, those days are gone. I got to learn it all over again. But the advantage, I mean, in some ways, this is the advantage of it. which is, and I have the No Starch books, which people like. I have the Python Crash Course, Serious Python. Those are both good books. But they're not serious. They're not what this is, which is what I need, which is, kind of for the programmer.
That's one of the curse words you can say on the radio.
Unbreakable. There she is, ladies and gentlemen. The unbreakable Kimmy Schaffer, our phone angel. Kimmy, don't take no Schaffer. Hello, Kimmy.
Hi.
I saw you yesterday.
I did see you yesterday. You were slumming it in Marin.
Well, I wasn't exactly slumming it.
I know.
Oh, man.
I haven't walked around that place in a long time, and it was nothing but boutique shops.
Oh, it's so upscale. We were in Larkspur, which is even more boutique-y.
Yeah.
And it was fun. I go down and visit my daughter, and we like to go to lunch down there.
Where'd you eat?
Where did we eat? Oh, the Sushi Co.
Oh, okay.
Went to the sushi bar.
We went to Hog Island and did not have oysters.
Hog Island's good. We often go to Hog Island.
Yeah. I miss my Marin Brewing Company, though.
They shut down.
I know.
I don't know why we're giving people a travel of Marin.
If you ever take the ferry, go to...
You ever want some sourdough and chablis?
Yeah.
Maybe a little brie on the side. How about a baked brie?
Delicious grilled cheese sandwich.
Kim, who should we start the show
Let's
with?
go to Richard in Vernon, California. He actually, I think he has more of a question for you. Wants to know if you've been somewhere. That sounds kind of cool.
Have I been somewhere?
I think you'd be interested in this place.
These days I don't go anywhere
On
much.
line 4.
Thank you, Kim. Hello, Richard, Leo Laporte, Mikah Sargent, your tech guys for the day. Welcome.
I'm a long-time listener.
Nice. Thank you. It's great to have you.
And since you have always talking about cameras, have you ever been to the Leica factory in Germany?
I didn't know you could go.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I'm a Leica fan. I have Leica, which is kind of a classic name in cameras, because some of the great street photographers especially used Leica cameras. And they're still much beloved today by people like me with more money than sense. But I have a Leica M3, which is their old film camera that I bought that came out in 1956, and I got it because it's the same age as me, but it's holding up much better.
Yeah.
And then I have a Leica Q camera, which was a digital one they put out. I do not have... Chris Marquardt and I talk often about the Leica M11, which just came out, which is I think a $9,000 digital camera that doesn't have autofocus. It's a rangefinder, as all Leicas are traditionally. Are you a Leica shooter?
Yes, I am. My question is this one. My question. I was there at the factory, but I text them first that I will come. And finally, they have somebody that do the around the factory. That's a person that specializes in for the people that wants to see how they build the cameras.
The building looks like a lens, which I love. Isn't that great? It's in Wetzlar, right?
Yes, it is a very small town outside Frankfurt.
Yeah, the only reason I know the name is because on every one of my lenses. It says Wetzlar. Yeah, that's nice. Oh, how fun. So you it's not open to the public. You had to make an appointment?
Correct.
But if I imagine if you've bought any Leica gear, that should kind of get you in the door, because actually, I've been to the Leica store in several towns. They're beautiful stores. I tried to buy a camera there once, and I think the guy said, "You don't have enough money." I'm sorry, you can't buy a camera here. But so do they have a museum?
They have a nice show place in the storage. When you come in, there's a storage. There's the beginning of the camera when they built it, maybe 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And there's also a camera from that Hitler used them.
Oh, yeah. Well, of course, it was, it was around during the war. How old is Leica?
I don't know exactly, but it's very close to the 100 years, I think.
Yeah. Oh, I am so jealous. So next time I'm in Frankfurt, I should make a side trip to Wetzlar.
Yes, it's outside Frankfurt.
Yeah.
It's a small town, but it's beautiful.
I imagine that when you say factory, it's not mass assembled. These are handmade, right? Like watches.
Yes, that's handmade.
Yeah. Beautiful. They're beloved by people not just as cameras, but as kind of industrial era works of art. They're quite amazing, like a great watch. You know, it's quite amazing. What do you shoot with, Richard?
Yeah, I had an M3 too.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Nice.
But now they come all with digital, so
it's all digital. Yeah. I think I only shot a few rolls with the M3. Because honestly, as fun as it is, it's hard to get it processed. And honestly, digital is probably is better, but still, it's just a beautiful thing to have. I have it in my office at home, and I look at it every once in a while, pull it out, and say, "You're holding up well." Richard, thank you for calling. It's so nice to talk to you.
Yeah, because they are the first one, I think, with a digital and a regular camera.
They still do film.
Yes.
Thank you, Richard. Auf Wiedersehen. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Scott Wilkinson coming up. This is somebody sent me this article by Jim Fisher from PC Magazine. It was in the chat room. This is really cool. I'm gonna pull this up here.
Yeah, I love how they have most of the photos in black and white.
He shot them with his M3. Oh, that you put it in there.
That's me.
Nice job.
Oh, that's the image. You have to go up higher. I just posted that because I thought it was really cool. If you go higher in the chat, you'll see the actual link to the article.
How'd you find that? You're so quick.
Google Foo.
You're so
as
quick.
They say in
Google
Germany.
Foo. Google Foo.
Google Foo.
So I love it that the building is shaped like a lens. That's probably the museum. So this is an article by Jim Fisher, who is a Leica shooter. He said, many of the images taken with my vintage Leica M3 and M monochrome, which people love, that's digital, and an SL2, which I played with and did not like the SL2 very much. I was underwhelmed. That was one of their early digital efforts, and I was somewhat underwhelmed by it. Yeah, I love it's black and white. I bet you can tell which ones are film and which ones not. Look at that. I treasure my Leica stuff, though, I have to say. In a way, a Leica store is like a museum. They often have all that stuff there. There's the factory floor. It's lunchtime. They don't make probably very many. Wow, look at that. Klein Filmkamera. Wow, legend has it there are 36 frames per roll in a roll of film because it matched the length of Oskar Bonach's outstretched arms. That's how he measured lengths of film when loading cartridges in the darkroom. Wow. First 35 millimeter still camera he designed. Oh, look at that. Wow. Leica monocular orbited the moon in an early Apollo mission.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, the astronauts used Leica early on.
The first Leica photo.
The first. There's a roof. Ernst Lights. You could stay at the Ernst Lights Hotel. Wow.
In the studio.
This is a neat article. Thank you for that link. What is hip? This cat right here, Scott Wilkinson, our home theater geek, joins us every week to talk about big screen TVs, surround sound, all that jazz. Hey, Scotty.
Hey, Leo. How you doing?
I'm great. Mikah Sargent. Say hello to Mikah.
Mikah, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, Scott. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Good. Had a good vacation, I hope?
I did, yes. A very good concert.
Did you go somewhere?
Yeah.
To a concert?
Yeah, we went to a concert.
What'd you see?
Alt J, Portugal the Man, and Cherry Glazer. But I was there to see Alt J.
I like Portugal the Man.
I had to wear 2 masks because people around me were hitting their cannabis. And
So here's another use for a mask. It
Yeah.
protects you from the...
double the mask means I didn't have to
that's a good idea.
intake any of their stuff.
I'm keeping all my
hand
masks for exactly that reason.
Makes me too anxious.
So Scott and I both saw this article in Lifehacker, which is actually echoes something I've been saying for a long time, which is if you could, buy a dumb TV.
Yes.
Why?
Well, there are many reasons, several anyway. The smart TVs have these apps, right? Netflix and so on. But they also track you very carefully, what you watch and your viewing habits, so that they can ostensibly deliver you ads that are relevant to your lifestyle and interests. But they also sell this information to third-party companies, and it's a little creepy, if you ask me. I want to turn it off, and you can, in fact. I'll get to that in a minute. There's also another reason why smart TVs for using as a streaming device are not a great idea, and that is that manufacturers of TVs do not keep the software updated.
That's my reason. You're buying something that is second in quality to an Apple TV or a Roku.
Over a Roku, right.
Yeah.
And you keep a TV for a couple of years at least. I
Right.
mean, I remember when
Right.
we used to keep them for 15, but now it's 2 to 5 maybe. And they don't update the software. So by the middle and end of the TV's life in your house, the software is woefully out of date. So, and you can't replace it with anything. I mean, another TV, but if you get a Roku or an Apple TV or a Amazon Fire TV or something like that, it gets updated regularly, and you can replace it with something else if you find something you like better. And they're not that expensive.
I know why people buy smart TVs, though. I know people who do. It does one thing that does everything, and you don't have to think about it. It's very popular with cord cutters, for instance.
Yeah.
Because now you just put in especially if you're an apartment, young person in an apartment, it's inexpensive. They are less expensive because they're selling your information, so they make a little extra money on the side. The latest offense, if you ask me, Vizio has started popping up ads on top of live TV programming.
Yes.
That's
Which
another
is
reason not to get a smart TV. Yeah.
Terrible. So this Life Hacker article, as you read, says, well, you could get a dumb TV. And I've said for a while, yeah, where?
Where? That's my question.
Where can you get a dumb TV?
I tell you all the time. I just want a TV that's a monitor, basically, like a computer monitor.
and this is one of their answers is get a computer monitor.
Really?
Well, yeah, but the problem there is where are you going to find a 55, 65, 75-inch computer monitor?
Right.
Your
I guess
TV,
if it's
you want to be big.
So I have in front of me a Samsung monitor, which is probably the same panel they put in their TVs.
Probably.
$300, but it's only 31 inches.
Exactly.
But it is 4K and it's HDR and all of those things. I doubt it's full array local dimming. That's another thing. They put features into TVs they don't put into monitors.
Exactly. And you're going to get lower quality. You're going to get edge lighting.
Yeah. Just like monitors make bad TVs, TVs make bad monitors.
Exactly.
So use it for the purposes. But you can dumbify a smart TV.
Sure you can. Exactly. Simply don't connect it to the internet.
I never plug in. I plug it in once to update the firmware, maybe once in a while to see if there's an update.
Right.
But after that, disconnected. Unfortunately, some TVs, my Hisense projector, every once in a while, like every other day, says, I'm not connected to the internet. I'm not connected to the internet. And it goes away after a minute. So,
well, I found another interesting article in doing a little research on this from Commando.com. Kim Commando, you might know her. She has a great article on her site about how to disable all the tracking and all the stuff that smart TVs do. Pretty detailed, too, because you can do it at the device level.
Wait a
right?
minute. Really? Can you? How?
Yeah.
How do you
Yeah,
disable
well,
it?
She gives you step-by-step
Yeah, I
instructions.
don't trust her 1 inch, but go ahead.
Oh, you don't? Oh,
God,
okay.
no.
Wow.
She's horrible.
Oh,
Okay. Anyway,
sorry.
But send me the article. I'd like to look at it. If
I
you
will,
think it's
I will.
doable, it's worth.
Well, I mean, she says go into settings, go here, go there. How can that be wrong? unless it's
Well,
wrong.
because is this the one that says yes, your smart TV is spying on you? Here's how to stop it. Is that the article?
I don't remember now. I have to look and see.
So. Yeah, there are probably in the menus things you can do. It's been my experience. You turn them off and nothing happens.
Well, there's that.
I always turn personalized advertising off. I always turn advertising off. I still get it. So I don't think it's
interesting.
Unfortunately, it's not really in their interest to do that, to be honest with you. The best thing to do, not connect it to the internet. Then none of that stuff's happening, whether it thinks it is or not.
Right. Except in the case of your Hisense, where every couple days it complains.
Well, but yeah, I can live with that. Honestly, can live with that.
Can you click on something that says never mind?
It goes away. It's up. It's when you first turn it on, or every once in a while I'll pop it up, and then it goes away. The only bad thing is that the Hisense, and a lot of TVs have this now, has a Netflix button. And have buttons to specific services, which I also think is a dopey thing to do. Obviously, Netflix pays them for that.
Right, of course.
And every once in a while, hit it by accident. And then it's kind of a pain.
And then it complains. And, what am I going to do?
I only use the Hisense remote to turn the TV off and on. Then I put it in a drawer. Never touch it again.
Well, and what's your source? I mean, you could probably program your source remote to turn the TV on and off.
Yeah, maybe. Or if you get really fancy, you could probably use your router to firewall the TV to make it think it's online, but it actually can't connect.
Oh, that's
I could easily do that with the kind of router I have, but that seems like that's a black diamond tip. Yeah.
That's if you're serious.
If you search for disable smart TV, you'll find quite a few articles.
Quite a few articles. I happened to find that one, and I regret that.
Even Samsung has an article.
Really?
Yeah.
I missed that one.
So,
I know CNET does.
Here's one I would trust: consumerreports.org.
There you go.
If you remember how to turn off smart TV snooping features.
Yep.
Chances are her article came from some of these articles. So I think you're gonna get all of those benefits. Go ahead and look at her article. That's fine. We'll put in a link in the show notes to the various things, or just Google disable smart TV. But again,
disable smart TV.
I think that probably the best thing to do is just not connect it to the internet.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. That is the best thing to do.
Yeah.
This life hacker thing also said get an outdoor TV, but those things are hella bright, not good for indoors, and super expensive.
Yeah.
They also said get a business display.
Oh, that's interesting. But you always pay more for business. Often business is better, and you pay for it, right?
Right. Oh, but it's not always better. A lot of business displays I looked at, they're only 60 hertz, for example.
Forget it.
Many of them are edge lit.
Forget about it. Yeah.
This is not what I want in my home theater.
Scott Wilkinson, home theater geek, contributor at techhive.com, and of course a regular on this show. Great to talk to you. Thank you, Scott.
You betcha.
Leo Laporte, Mikah, Sargent, the tech guys. Well, it's not merely the tracking, and you're right, a lot of people don't care about the tracking. It's not merely the tracking, it's also the dumb smart software. It's not so good.
Right.
I think for me, that's a lot of it too. That's easily solved. You just get a Roku.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I was one point I was gonna make was the Roku or any of these streamer devices are also going to track you.
Well, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a very good point.
That's going to be no different.
You're going to be tracked no matter where you are.
As long as you're streaming, as long as you're connected to the internet, they're going to track you.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. Yeah.
So going into this, if you don't want to be tracked, going into this disable smart TV tracking, or
if it does it.
Which they all do.
I mean, but if it actually does it.
Yeah, if you go in and you set those controls and they actually do anything, they might just be completely ineffective.
Right.
I hadn't thought of that. That's a good point.
That's the reason I don't generally recommend Kim Commando, because she's not going to be doing the research on whether it does it or not. She's just going to...
I regret bringing her up then.
That's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
No, I don't care.
I didn't know. I didn't know.
She's another radio host. She's a competing radio host.
Oh, really? Oh, no. I'm really
That's all right.
sorry then.
We're on many of the same stations, but also many not. I mean, where she is, generally I am not.
Her article looked pretty comprehensive to me, which is why I mentioned
Yeah, I mean,
that.
she has staff that does that, but almost certainly they just combined a bunch of stuff from other people. Yeah.
Sorry.
But I would trust Consumer Reports. I would trust Tom's
absolutely.
Guide. You know.
Yeah. CNET also has one, although that one was from 2016 or 2015.
Yeah, that's another problem. It's not going to, the times have changed a lot.
I know. Well, dang.
And then, of course, from the TWiT Podcast Network. I don't know what you found there, Kevin. That's funny. TV block. Samsung can disable your Samsung Smart TV. Oh, this is you and Matthew talking.
Yeah, this was back. It was
Anti-theft
Samsung
feature.
being able to stop your TV from being used.
Right.
So the reverse kind
It
of.
was a activation lock kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if that's been covered on TWiT, obviously that would have been the first thing I would have wanted to
Oh, no,
That's
this
the
is a
opposite.
different thing.
Yeah. So a little reading from Learning Python.
Right. I have to. Beatmaster is in the chat room saying, any thoughts on the QD OLED story I shared with you last week? And the answer is I didn't have a chance to do any research on it, but it's an interesting story, the way that they've configured the pixel matrix and how that can cause color fringing on some sharp boundaries. I have to do a little more research into that. So I haven't yet. Sorry, Beatmaster. Let's see here. So just buy a Chromecast, Faux says. Yeah, that's one solution.
Oh, I bet Mike B would love to hear about Melissa. Everybody loves Melissa. Now I got everybody saying, do an ad, Leo. It's not too late. Time's I know we don't want to do that. So let's talk about our spa. I hate to do it at this break, to be honest with you, because it's such a short break. But you're making me do it, so I'm going to do it. Melissa, everybody loves Melissa. They're known as the address experts. And when I say everybody loves Melissa, I'm not making it up. They've been around for 37 years. They have a renewal rate of over 92%. Once people discover Melissa, they never leave. And the typical return on investment for Melissa customers, 25%. 25%. What does Melissa do? Well, it makes your contact list, your address list, your supplier list accurate. People move, names change, addresses, email, zip code, all of this stuff. Melissa can do it all, and they can do it in any way you like, on-prem, as a FTP server, as a SaaS solution. They even have an amazing API, which makes it very easy to add Melissa's address checking to your software, customer service software, or shopping cart software. Last year, Melissa had a record 30 billion, with a B, North American address lookups. That's the most in its history, 30 billion. You can verify not just addresses, but emails, phone numbers, names. You can do it in real time with Melissa. They respond instantly. Their global address verification service verifies addresses for more than 240 countries and territories at the point of entry. They also eliminate duplicates. You don't need Gemini for this. You can use Melissa's data matching, which, I used to get from Restoration Hardware, used to send me 4 of their very, very expensive catalogs. Same name, same address. They needed Melissa. I noticed, by the way, I only get 1 now. Maybe they did. Do batch address cleaning. You can do identity verification. That's nice, right? Very important. You can convert addresses into latitude and longitude. You can do email verification. And you can do it any way you want. And of course, it's your data, and they treat it like the gold that it is. They undergo continuous independent security audits to make sure that they are safe, private, and compliant. SOC 2, HIPAA, and GDPR compliant as well. And of course, if you get a service level agreement, incredible global support 24/7 from people who are very, very nice. Melissa named the Data Quality Magic Quadrant by Gartner for the second year in a row this year. G2 Crowd's 2022 report ranks Melissa as a leader in both address verification and data quality. Make sure your customer contact data is up to date. Melissa, try their APIs in the developer portal. You can log on, sign in, start playing in the API sandbox 24/7, or take a look at the Lookups apps for iOS and Google. You can play with those as well. Get started today with 1,000 records cleaned for free at the site melissa.com/twit. Please use that address so they know you saw it here. melissa.com/twit. Thank you, Melissa. And now, on with the show. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888. Ask Leo. Johnny's on the line from Atlanta, Georgia. Hi, Johnny. Oh, I have your button on now. Go ahead. Hi, Johnny.
Hey, Leo. I hope you can hear me okay.
I hear you great. It's a little crackly.
It's like a record, like an album.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on my Pixel 6. I turned off Wi-Fi calling.
He's on vinyl now. That's why.
It is vinyl.
Yeah. What can we do for you?
Hey, before I ask my question, I did want to bring to your attention, if you weren't aware, I follow a lot of people on YouTube, technical people, and one of them is what is his last name?
Linus Tech Tips, LTT.
Lon Seidman. No, Lon Seidman.
Lon Seidman, okay.
Yeah, and he had a show this week called Why Nobody Controls Podcasting, and it was kind of like a podcasting 101.
Oh, nice.
But in this show, he really has a nice segment on you.
You're kidding.
A lot of credit for being one of the early pioneers.
Oh, nice.
Of podcasting.
I have to watch.
Yeah, he says one of his favorite podcasts still to this day is Security Now.
Very, very popular. Yeah.
So so he really gives you a plug. He uses some of your logos, so you should definitely go watch it.
I thank you for the tip. I will. I'll make a note of that. Thank you.
Okay. My question is, I was like you, one of the early adopters of the Owlcam, and so when it was discontinued a few years ago, I just put mine in a drawer.
Yeah, me too.
I know they've started. Since they've started back, and I've heard you talk about it a couple of times over the last few months. I'm curious if you are using it. Did you rehook yours up?
I haven't. I should. Yeah, because I spent some money on that. Owlcam was a really cool car camera. Had two views forward, so it was always recording. One of those dashboard cams that if you get in an accident, you have a record of it. It was also recording the cabin. It even had a really nice feature that you could talk to the person in the car. I used it several times to scare my wife. And that was because Owlcam came with built-in LTE. But they made a mistake when they sold the product. They really didn't price it. It was more expensive. It was several $100. But I don't think they priced in the cost of the full-time LTE connection that the Owl, because you didn't have to pay for that part. There was no subscription. So I think Owlcam basically ran out of money. I remember it was about 2 years ago, pictures of their shuttered office where just everybody had left. Then along came another company that bought the assets, and I think it was Presto, Presto's the name of the what you say. You said okay Presto to get Owlcam to take a picture. That's right. And they apparently have revived Owlcam. I think their focus, I notice, is on kind of business, B2B fleet solutions, that kind of thing. But I have not tried re-engaging my existing camera, which I understand I can do. So I can't give you an answer. Is anybody in the chat room? Somebody says it's not Hooters that bought Owlcam. No, it's not. If somebody in the chat room has used the new Owlcam, I think back in Philly in our chat room says good customer support. He has a residential Owlcam. So yeah, I just don't know anything about it. But you're right. Since I have the Owlcam, I probably should just try hooking it up again. They're selling what they call the Owlcam Classic 4 and 5 for less than the original, $200 for the 4 and $269 for the 5. It was good because it had a very good camera built into it, and I liked that you could say "Okay, presto," and it would take the last 30 seconds, and it would upload it. So you'd have a copy of it offline. If somebody broke in to try to steal it, it would take pictures of them and upload it before they got it. And, of course, you could really bug your spouse by talking to them on the Owlcam, which was always great fun. I'm looking at the site now, and it looks like it's a little lower rent than it used to be. I'm wondering how this company is doing. This was, I thought these guys were really smart startup guys, but they made a mistake. A lot of them do. They didn't really figure out how they were going to stay alive. So I don't know how the new owners are doing. CallPass, that's who bought them. CallPass.
I was looking at a replacement, but I don't like all these cheap ones that just plug into the, like a USB into the.
Well, that was the other thing that was cool about this is it used the ODB 2 port on your car for powering itself, and it was smart enough not to drain your battery if the car was off and things like that. And you could they came with a little tool to tuck the wires in as you went around the dashboard. So it really was a very attractive installation. I used it for a long time, hoping I would get in an auto accident so I have a record of it. Nothing ever happened. So maybe that's why I didn't hook it up again. I never really used it.
Another brand I was looking at was from Blackview. Are you familiar with that company?
I am not. The only one that I know about and kind of recommend, and honestly, this is something that there are many, many reviews of dash cams and stuff, and I probably would trust them. But the company Garmin, who was in the business of GPS for a long time and then said, what are we going to do now that everybody has a GPS in their phone? So they did two things. They just started doing watches, but they also started doing dash cams. And I pretty consistently see them recommended as the best, as very good dash cams. I've heard people talk about the Black Cam as well. It's inexpensive. It has a lot of interesting features. I'm just not up on this particular area as much as I ought to be. Why do you want? Let me ask you this: why do you want a dash cam?
I think I like the security of it.
Yeah.
If I'm in an accident, but I guess I watch too many YouTube channels.
Yeah, because there's a lot of great dash cam footage, especially from Russia.
Yeah, and are all over the world. But I also worry about, even though I'm a big supporter of the police, I do worry about being falsely accused of something.
Sure. Well, or your insurance company. Some gardening truck dropped a rake in the road as I was driving along. I hit it and messed up something on my car, and I wanted the insurance company to pay for it. And they said, "Well, you weren't alert enough." And had I had dash cam footage of it, I would say there was nothing I could do. I had to hit that. I couldn't drive around it because there were cars around me and stuff. So yeah, it can go both ways though. If the insurance company gets the footage and it turns out you were reading a book while driving the car, because it does have footage of you as well as of the accident. I also think if you have a teenager, good thing to have. If you live in an area where, as we do in Northern California and San Francisco, where there are break-ins all the time, having footage of that break-in, I don't know if it's going to help much. The police don't seem to care very much, but at least you'd have some footage of it. So I feel like there are definitely uses for it. And there are a number of good reviews. CNET's Roadshow, my friend Brian Cooley has a good best dash cam for 2022 listing. He does list the $130 Garmin dash cam Mini 2 in there, but he talks about the Nexar Beam, the Vantrue N4, and the Next Base. The problem is there's so many of these now coming from Chinese companies, that you have to think about what you want. For instance, do you want a micro SD card in there so it's recording all the time? Do you want GPS in there? How high quality picture do you want? Do you want a backup camera as well as a front camera? All of that stuff. But he has a pretty good article that describes these, and also, more importantly, maybe gives you pictures of them because it is going to sit in your windshield. You should also be aware that in some states there are limitations as to what you can put in a windshield, so you should check your local authorities. I put my Owlcam behind the rearview mirror, so it was a fairly safe, wasn't blocking anything. So yeah, I'll give you. We'll put a link in the show notes to this particular article from CNET. But I'm going to have to defer to anybody in our audience who wants to talk about it, or this article, and because I am not an expert. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. The D-Ride 4K is on Indiegogo, $350. See, I've been kind of burned by the Owlcam. That's part of the problem. Is you and I spent money on this Owlcam, Johnny, and then it was suddenly a worthless brick. So I'm reluctant to put it on.
And I don't want to fall in that again. But like I said, I think I stay paranoid because I watch too many YouTube channels. And you're right, of wrecks and of people being falsely accused of stuff. And dash cam. I thought.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that's why there were so many of them in Russia, because there were just all sorts of incidents, and people just out of self-defense, everybody had to have one. And so I mean, cameras are cheap now. There should be cameras everywhere. There's no reason not to. So I think it's probably a good idea. If you have a Tesla, you have cameras all around your car that you have recordings of, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, what I wasn't sure of it. Can I hook up the Owlcam again without committing to anything?
I think you have to sign up for a subscription. I think that's what stopped me. I'm going to have to look. It's been a while. They sent an email out, as you know, and said you can join again. So I don't know how it worked.
I just need to get it out of the drawer and hook it up and see.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it has all the same features as the original. Maybe it isn't a subscription. That's interesting.
Somebody in the chat saying the new
subscribe.
Owlcam plan is better because it's unlimited streaming and storage now.
Nice. Okay, that's good.
Well, if I end up hooking up before you, I'll give you a call back.
Yeah, let me know, and maybe somebody will call in too. Thanks, Johnny.
All right, Leo.
Great day.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Mr. Scott Wilkinson.
Oh, well, thank you.
It's all yours, my friend.
Take it away, sir.
Sign up for the newsletter. Yeah, maybe I'll hook this up just to.
I'm surprised your machine doesn't have a built-in dash cam.
My machine.
Your machine.
My machina. My machina
Your
E.
Deus Ex Machina machine.
The Ex Machina. Indeed. Jamie's just went to see the L.A. Phil perform Bruckner's Ninth Symphony.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, man. I got to admit, that's one of the few things I miss about being in L.A. is going to hear the L.A. Phil at Walt Disney Hall, because, man, those guys are great. And he noticed that they were actually playing Wagner tubas, which the Bruckner Symphony calls for. And he asked if I play the Wagner tuba. And the answer is, well, I can get a reasonable sound out of it, but I don't play it really because it's more of a French horn. It's actually a member of the French horn family more than the tuba family. I don't know why it's called a Wagner tuba, other than Wagner probably had something to do with its development, or at least wrote for it. But it's a great sound. And I do allow Wagner tubas in Tuba Christmas. Because they are conical valved instruments, and that's good enough for me. Somebody asked me the other day if I allow trombones, and the answer is no, I do not, because they're cylindrical and they're slides. They're not valved. Tubas are conical bore valved instruments, and so those are all fine. Trombones, niet. Thank you, Redacted. My audio, video, and background look great. I'm glad to hear you say that. I've been working on my set. I got a little more to go, but generally it's going to be great. Let's see. Phil D99, is there a strong reason to transition from Harmony One remote to an LG Magic remote? I don't know. I didn't know that the LG sold the Magic Remote separately, or that it could really be a universal remote. I'll tell you what I don't like about the LG Magic Remote, at least on LG TVs, is they tried to make it like a mouse, and you wave it in the air to move the cursor around on the screen, and I find that very confusing and not. It doesn't work very well. At least it didn't the last time I tried it. And it worked so poorly that I decided not to try it again. And I haven't looked at it in a while. So maybe I have to look at it again. Certainly the reason to transition away from Harmony is that they no longer make Harmonies. When I moved recently here to Santa Cruz, I did a purge in my equipment box. And I got rid of all my universal remotes except the Harmonies. And I haven't started using them here in the new house yet, but I couldn't bear to get rid of my Harmony remotes because they're so good. And I know Logitech no longer makes them. They still support them, I think. I'm pretty sure you can hook them up to the internet and still make them work. So if you can find one online, somebody selling one, I suspect it's probably still going to be great. Let's see. The remotes, Mikah 326, the LG remotes are annoying. Yes, I agree.
No, now I drink heavy cream.
Phildy99 says, I have a 65C1, same sentiment. Yeah, okay. So C1 is just last year's OLED. And if they have a Magic Remote and it does this weird air mouse thing, I find it completely annoying and unusable. Twisted Mister says Harmony should be supported for quite a while. So squeeze boxes were supported for at least 5 years after their death. Do you mean accordions? I'm not sure what you mean by squeeze boxes. Jim Allen asks, what is more important for resolution, the amount of pixels or better pixel modulation? I would have to say, well, what's more important for resolution? I mean, pixel modulation doesn't have much to do with resolution per se, but in terms of picture quality, after a certain point, I would say better pixel modulation. I would certainly rather have better modulation at 4K than less good modulation at 8K. Let's put it that way. Seattle AI or A1, I can't tell. Let's take another look at the LG Magic Remote. I like mine, but it took a bit to learn it. Yes, I'm not at all surprised. Let's see. Himtez, because they cost so much and they have a sentiment to you. Yeah, the Logitech remotes are pretty expensive. Can you get an LG Magic Remote by itself? And will it be able to be programmed to use with anything? I doubt that anything but an LG TV will use that Air remote business, Air mouse business, so maybe they'd be okay. Mike B, Squeezebox is a music server player. Oh, okay. I don't remember that one. Jammer B. Oh, hey, Jammer B. Good question. What's the difference between a Philharmonic Orchestra, LA Phil, and a symphony orchestra, San Francisco Symphony? I think there is no difference. I think they are synonymous. Why one orchestra would choose to call itself Philharmonic and the other choose to call itself symphony, I don't know. I'll have to look into that. That's a really good question, actually. I think they're synonymous. But it's a really good question. Here in Santa Cruz, we have the Santa Cruz Symphony. And we're going to go see their first my first concert with them at the end of the month. And I'm really looking forward to that. Pictures at an exhibition, the Bruckner orchestral piece called Kol Nidra, which is based on the song/prayer Kol Nidra, which is used at the Jewish high holidays. My wife has sung it for many, many years. It's a beautiful song, and it's also traditionally played on the cello. And so the Bruckner orchestral version has a cello solo part. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that and hearing that. I think it's going to be great. I used to play in the Santa Cruz Symphony way back in the day. When I was here in the 1970s, I was the tuba player and the personnel manager in the Santa Cruz Symphony. So I'm looking forward to hearing how far they've come since in the last 45 years. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Not the same as LA Phil or the San Francisco Symphony, small. I will agree.
It's gotten so big.
Still good. Still good.
I was shocked when this came in the mail. I thought, what the hell happened?
What's going on over there?
Oh, I'm just showing Mikah my original Learning Python book compared to today's Learning Python book, which is about a 5-pound difference. Significant difference. All right. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you so much.
Well, hey. How are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches. I introduce you to my tech guy, too, Mikah Sargent.
Hello.
Also in the house with us, our Python expert. He's also... No, just
Not yet.
Not yet. You are studying, though. That's cool.
Yes.
You're studying at Udacity? Is that where you're taking a course from? Mm-hmm. And it's a beginning Python
The beginning Python
online
course, and it's mostly focused on using it online. It's
nice.
no machine learning stuff. I'm not getting into that.
Yeah, well, Python's widely used by data scientists, statisticians, physicists, because of the scientific and numeric capabilities. But, yeah, it's also widely used for internet programming. Google uses Python. It's a good language. I was just because I had learned Python back in the day when I was a young man, many years. No, it's probably late 90s. Let me see when this book came out, because this is the original book called Learning Python from the 1999. This came out, and it's it's a nice little book, very handy. It's got everything you need to know to use Python, about 350 pages. So I thought, well, Python's changed a lot since I played with it 20 years ago. So I ordered the new Python book. So this is from 1999, Learning Python. And this is the updated 5th edition, which only came out about, I think, 2013. But boy, things changed rapidly. So it's interesting because one of the reasons it's a good language to learn is because it does so much. It's so powerful, so widely supported. There's so many libraries, so many things, but it also makes it hard to learn. Yeah, because there's so much stuff.
You can go so many different ways.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, my mind loves to go all those different ways.
It's bad if you're distractible.
Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. That's why I often tell. When parents call and say, what should Johnny learn? Mostly Johnny's going to learn Python or JavaScript. That's probably, let's face it, the most popular languages to learn. But I always say, learn Lisp, and then they laugh.
Yeah, at one point I was Johnny.
You were Johnny, and you laughed.
I'm still not laughing, though.
The thing is, this book, which is Paul Graham's classic about Lisp, came out in, I'm going to say not so much earlier, 1996, so it's 3 years earlier than this Learning Python volume. It's even smaller, and it hasn't changed.
Exactly.
There's no giant 5-pound version because, well, Lisp's been around as long as I have. It's an old language, but still good. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number, 888-827-5536. Let's go back to the phones. Mikah, Leonard is on the line from San Diego. Hello, Leonard.
Hello, Leonard.
Good afternoon. I have a problem when I put on the Google store and I get Grubhub for a delivery. It comes up on the left-hand side of my screen, and a green circle keeps going around and around and around, and I try to put open, and it doesn't open.
So tell me a little bit about what you're doing this on. Is it a phone?
Yeah, I have a phone that's, what do you call it?
A smartphone? Oh, yeah, the Motorola. Yeah, I love the Motorola. So you have the Grubhub app, or no?
No.
Ah.
Come on, it just keeps.
That's what's going on. So this is a.
Around, it won't open.
Yeah. This is a.
Open, so nothing happens.
Yeah, this is I think an unfortunate trend in smartphones these days. If you're in the Google app or you're Googling it in the browser and you're trying to open Grubhub, what Grubhub's trying to do, I promise you, is say, this would be a lot better if you had the Grubhub app. They really want you to install an app. And honestly, it would be better. You wouldn't have this problem. But I suspect what's happening is it's trying to open a pop-up or it's trying to open a little message saying, get the app. And it's failing for whatever reason. And so you're stuck waiting for it to load. That's what that round and round means. Loading. You know how computers go working. Huh?
When I put open, it keeps turning and turning. But if I put close, it just stops.
Yeah, because you gave up. It never did get to open it, is the point. My suggestion, go to the Google Play Store. You have that app on there that allows you to install apps.
Yeah.
And that's where you look for Grubhub. And,
I got it.
Oh, you you have the app?
Yes.
Oh.
Sounds like Leonard's having trouble getting the apps to download.
I have the comes up on the app on my screen, and it says open in green. It says open, so I put down open, and that green circle keeps circling.
So it's not opening. Okay.
And nothing happens.
All right. So now what you need to do is uninstall and reinstall. The app is messed up. So you have the orange app that says Grubhub Local Food. It's got a little house on it with a fork and a knife in that. That you have that icon on your phone.
Yes, but I only have the problem with Uber too.
Okay, Uber.
The same thing happens. It won't open.
Okay, so for some reason those apps are not opening. There really aren't a lot of ways to fix this. One thing, by the way, always a good choice: restart the phone. So the button that turns the screen off doesn't actually turn the phone off. It looks like an on-off switch. It's not. It's a screen on-off switch. So what you want to do with that Motorola phone, I'm trying to remember. I think you press and hold it.
Press and hold the volume down button and the power button at the same time until the phone turns on. Press the volume down button until you see...
so that's the same as on an iPhone. That's cool. I guess they're maybe starting to standardize on how you do that. It's a lot of Android phones. It used to be you'd have to press it and hold it, and it would then give you a pop-up saying, well, what do you want to do? There's so many things I can do. And you say, well, I want you to turn off. Let's see what this one's doing. Yeah. See, that brings up the Google Play Store. So you're right, I guess, or the Google Assistant. So you want to press volume down and the button. No, that was a screenshot. There it is. Volume up and the on-off button. And you'll see power off. These are computers. Restarting the computer is always a good idea if you're having weird problems like that. If you still get the spin, I can't open this, then it's probably time to uninstall and reinstall the app. And you do that by pressing and holding it, and then it will say remove the app, and you say, uninstall, not remove, uninstall the app, and then go to the App Store and download it again. It's damaged somehow. It's interesting that it's happening to both Uber and Grubhub. I can't think of any other reason why that might be happening. I would reboot the phone and then try reinstalling the apps. As long as you have internet access. If you didn't have internet access, that could be an issue. But I'm presuming you have internet access. Mike on the line from Rancho Cucamonga. Hello, Mike.
Hi, Leo.
Hey.
So, Leo, I've got a 27-inch iMac, and it's time to upgrade, but I'm not sure I want to downgrade the screen size and go with the 24-inch iMac. So I'm thinking of getting a Mac Mini and then the monitor of my choice.
That's exactly what I just did. I replaced a 2014 27-inch iMac with a $700 Mac Mini M1, the new M1 chip. It was a little more expensive than the base model because I wanted 16 gigs of RAM. You might spend even a little bit more because you want a bigger hard drive. I only got a tiny little hard drive because it's just for the studio. And then I went out and bought a $300 Samsung monitor that's 31 inches, no bezels. And I think that's a very good choice.
So tell me, what monitors do I want to look for that are comparable in quality to what I would get in the 24?
Oh, boy, this is the question.
Because those monitors on your iMac are 5K. Now, personally, so there's two issues. One is that that's a 5K monitor. Apple does sell a Mac Studio display, which will work with your Mini. It's a 5K monitor. I don't think it's a very good monitor. Mikah, you have it, so you.
I really like mine.
Yeah.
I think it's a very good display. If
It's
you're
the
after
same
all the other stuff
as your old 27-inch iMac display. Just basically, it's the same. It's an LG panel. It is only 60 hertz refresh rate. The M1 can go to 120 hertz. It does not do HDR. The M1 can drive. I'm driving an HDR monitor at 120 hertz. So there are things the studio display, and by the way, my monitor was a third the cost.
Yes.
So the things the studio display cannot do that I think a modern monitor should be able to do. Now, if you want 5K, you're going to have to go with Apple, I think. I don't think, except maybe the LG Ultrafine. They have a 5K.
That's the only one that I was...
But it's not a great monitor. And in fact, I think the main reason Apple sells the studio display is because people were unhappy with the 5K. But the good news is the 5K is not so expensive as the studio display. So, well, wait a minute, $12.99. Never mind. That's ridiculous. It's only a few $100 less.
What size screen did you say you had before? 24?
27. He had the iMac.
Oh, okay. What did I hear? 24.
That's because that's what they're selling today, right? He doesn't want that. Yeah, I don't blame you.
So let me clarify. I'm not a pro user. I'm not a professional. This is a family monitor. And so
it
doesn't need the now that what you've said, I don't want to spend the money to get a 5K monitor.
No.
I just don't want to get a cheap monitor.
So I got, and I regret it, but it's a good monitor, but it was only $363. The Samsung 31-inch, the problem is it's curved. I don't know. I mean, curved, I guess for a desk, might not be a bad thing. It's a weird thing to get used to. I honestly think Dell makes excellent monitors at very reasonable costs. The thing to know about Dell monitors is they have two grades. So they have ultra sharp, which are basically to compete with Apple. So they're calibrated, they're higher quality, they're also more expensive. And then they have the lower kind of consumer grade monitors. And this, I know, adds to the confusion. If I were you, I would get a ultra high def Dell 4K monitor. It'll be half the price at maybe even less. I mean, like $450. And you'll be much happier, I think.
I 100% agree. The Dell, I've used two 24-inch Dell UltraSharp monitors for going on like 5 years.
They're beautiful.
They're fantastic.
Do you notice your studio display, that expensive $1,500 display from Apple, is any better?
Yes, I do, because the Dell UltraSharps are not Retina, and these ones are. This one is. So for me, that did make a difference. But those UltraSharp monitors work just fine. And if it's a family computer, nobody needs to have this special 2X, blah, 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 then I think a Dell monitor is a really good get.
Really, so Retina is a marketing term Apple uses to describe dots per inch. And if you have a very high dots per inch, it's, you can't see the dots. I don't think that matters. Get a Dell. It doesn't have to be an ultra sharp. I would get a bigger Dell. Might as well, for less money.
Dude, you're getting a Dell.
And you can use HDMI, or you're probably going to want to get one with DisplayPort or Type-C connection, because that's going to give you the high frame rate. It will not give you a high frame rate on the HDMI port.
That's the other good thing about the Dell monitors, is they often have so many different options on the back of them to plug in.
This one I'm using at DisplayPort looks great. 120 frames per second. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Mikah Sargent, tech guy too. More of your calls still to come. So, in fact, if you're going in order of best, I would use DisplayPort. And what you're going to get, and it might even come with a monitor, is a Type-C. That's because the Mac Mini 2 Type-C Thunderbolt 4 outputs, and it has 1 HDMI output. And you might be tempted to say, oh, I'm going to use the HDMI because the monitor does HDMI.
Mm-hmm.
I would strongly suggest instead getting a $15 Thunderbolt 3 to DisplayPort cable and get a monitor that supports DisplayPort. Then you get the high refresh rate, you get UHD, you get all the benefits. And because you're going to save so much money, you could get a 31-inch. You know, unfortunately, a lot of these, even Dell is selling curved ones. I don't know why. I don't like curved that much. My wife's 49 inches curved. This one is curved. I guess if
I think a 49-inch one makes sense to be curved.
Because it's so big.
But anything less than that, and it's just why are you curving my screen?
I'm just trying to see the biggest ones Dell sells that are not curved. 4K UHD screen size 30 inches or higher. Yeah, they do sell an ultra sharp USB-C 4K for $890, which is a little much.
So Leo, I've got another question for you.
Sure.
I've got 2 Thunderbolt ports on the back of my my iMac that I've never touched. I've never even thought about. Should I? Will I get any benefit of getting a Thunderbolt dock just for my peripherals? Nothing special, nothing, as opposed to just a standard dock.
Well, yeah. So they're much more expensive, Thunderbolt docks. I don't know why. I think it's maybe the licensing for the Thunderbolt port, or maybe it's the hardware. It's also right now very hard to get Thunderbolt docks. Those are in part of the supply chain problem. So that's a really good question. If you wanted to run a hard drive at full speed, 40 gigabits per second, then you need Thunderbolt 3. But if you don't mind running at a hard drive at 10 gigabytes a second, the USB 3.1 speed, then you don't need it. You just need USB. It doesn't really matter for anything else. But I think hard drives are what it matters for. Ethernet, that kind of thing. I have a Otherworld Computing, or no, maybe it's Anchor.
I think you have an Anchor
dock that is not Thunderbolt, and it's great, and it's fine. It's all I need.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And why would I upgrade to 16 gigabytes of memory as opposed to just
because you cannot upgrade after the fact. And I think you really do want 16 gigs. That's my opinion.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great.
You can't upgrade it, so you're going to be stuck with it. And with 8 gigs, you're going to run into running out of memory on some programs, for sure.
Super.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think this is actually going to be a better choice. Because just as you say, you have a better choice of monitors. The reason Apple's 5K is hard to get is because they actually have to put a support chip in there to run 5K. And so for now, anyway, 5K is just difficult. But 4K is fine.
I'm not a monitor snob, so I don't need that.
You don't need that. No.
I just didn't want to get a lousy monitor.
I think if Dell Ultra Sharp is very good, and you don't even need to get the Ultra Sharp. Dell has some really excellent monitors. But I'm looking at a 32-inch 4K USB-C hub monitor, so it has the hub in it, $919. Dell Ultra Sharp. That's a hell of a monitor for, 50% less than the Mac Studio. Enjoy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for the call. Put me in, Coach. Opening day was this week. It's very exciting. Baseball's back. It's on Apple TV now. On Friday, they had some glitches, some issues.
I read about that.
Yeah, but I think ultimately it's going to be 4K, which will be fun to watch baseball in 4K on your Apple TV. Some people are complaining they got Major League Baseball, the app. You're supposed to be able to watch all the games, not the ones on Apple TV. Nope. Part of the deal, I guess, with Apple. Cheryl's on the line from Moreno Valley, California. Hi, Cheryl. Welcome.
Hi, Leo. I've had this problem with several phones, but when I turn on my phone, the first thing you get is a screen with apps and stuff. And I don't stay on a 6 seconds. And no matter what I find, I cannot make it stay on longer than I can read it.
6 seconds is very short, isn't it?
Yes.
Is it an iPhone or an Android phone?
Android. I have to keep hitting it on button, bring it back.
Oh, I know. I hate that. I have turned that level up. It's to save battery, but 6 seconds is way too short.
Oh, yeah,
I find Android to see.
No.
Yeah. So in the settings, if you go to display, under display, there's a thing called screen timeout.
Well, I've done the timeout. Mine just says timeout. I put it on 30 minutes, 1 minute, and 2 minutes. And
It's not paying attention to it?
No.
Well, how annoying is that?
I think I actually lost seconds when I
It actually, okay, so it's not doing the job right. So you found the screen timeout section. In fact, the shortest one is 15 seconds. So, yeah, that's interesting.
There you go.
That's interesting.
Could it be a problem with that? The government phones for poor people.
Yeah.
They give us bottom of the barrel.
They don't give you the best phones. Yeah, the so-called Obama phones. But at the other hand, they're subsidized, which is nice. Do you know what model of phone it is? What brand is it? A Samsung?
I got it to my ear. I could be blind.
That's okay.
In the dark here.
That's okay.
I don't know.
But that is annoying that it goes dark. It's a power-saving thing. One thing I would do is turn the phone, like I was telling our earlier caller, reboot the phone. These are computers, and they need to be rebooted more often than one would think. In fact, for a while, Samsung actually had that in the settings, reboot every day. Maybe they knew there was a problem. So try, again, volume up, and the...
It stayed good. So I ran over it. One that has for 10 years was great.
You ran over it?
I ran over it.
On purpose?
No, it fell out. I heard something fall. I looked around. It was dark. Didn't see.
Oh, that's a terrible feeling.
Until I realized I lost it.
Crunch.
When I said, yeah.
Crunch. I think there's a power... I wonder if it's a power setting, if there's somewhere in the power settings.
That's what I was thinking.
Look in the battery settings. Make sure your battery... There's a number of settings, adaptive preferences, battery saver. Maybe don't try to save battery because 6 seconds is not enough. It should be at least 30 seconds, I think. And I like to solve chess problems on my phone. It always turns off before I can solve the problem, so I'd set up to 2 minutes. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Dwindle says, I have a few devices I'd like to run over. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's turning off so soon. Look and make sure your battery saver is not turned on.
Okay.
That might do it. That's under the battery settings.
I think it is on. It really prompts you to do that. I may have.
Yeah, it's supposed to only use it when you get down to a certain level of battery. Now, maybe your battery's dying, in which case it could be the battery saver is always on. But check, you'll see. It'll say whether the battery saver is on.
You mentioned rebooting. Would I lose all my pictures?
You won't lose a thing. You're not resetting. You're just rebooting. You're just like on a computer. You're saying, go to bed and start over again. So you press the volume up and the on-off switch at the same time, which I have not done. As you can see, it's technically very hard to do. I know. I'm too old, too. I finally got it working. Press those two at the same time, and you'll get a set of choices, including power off. And if you power it off, all that does is it says, you could do restart. That would be okay as well. Do restart. You know what? That's fine. It's harmless. All it does is it shuts the phone down and starts it up again. Sometimes the phone, gets in a weird state, and restarting it doesn't hurt. Certainly you won't lose anything. The other option suggestion I'd make is make sure battery saver is not turned on in the settings. That you're not, because if it's trying to save battery, maybe it would, in fact, then shut down fast because it says, "Whoa, you're using up so much." Because the number one thing that, by the way, the number one thing that uses battery is the screen. Screen on time is a huge part of that. So if it's trying to save battery, the first thing it's going to do is turn off the screen when it thinks you're not looking at it. There are other settings it could be. There's settings like the reason I asked if you had a Samsung phone. Samsung has settings for if you're looking at the phone, not turn off and things like that. And
you looking at it?
Yeah, it's called attention. So if you're paying attention, don't turn it off. Not all phones have that. I wish mine did.
By a different name. They want to ask you, how much time you want to leave on after you're off the phone. It has that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a cool name or anything, but
yeah, it's one of those dig in the settings. And and it's, these things are so complicated. They're really more complicated than any human should have to endure. I apologize in advance. They're so complicated.
But this phone was my flip phone. I love that.
Yeah. Well, I just saw an article that says people are going back to flip phones because they're so tired of how complicated these darn smartphones are.
Yeah, how big you can.
If you just use it as a phone, if you don't play Words with Friends or anything on it, then I would get a flip phone. They have government flip phones.
Well, whenever you put it in your back pocket, you go to bed.
Yeah, and you can probably, a lot of them, you can even drive over them. I wouldn't recommend it.
No, me neither.
Hey, Cheryl, a pleasure talking to you. I have to run. Johnny Jet's here. Have a wonderful day. I hope something we suggested helps.
I do too.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. He's been everywhere, man. He's Johnny Jet, our traveling guru. He joins us every week to help us travel better with technology. And I tell you, we might need you this week. What a mess out there in plane land.
Big time. I mean, operation meltdowns all over. They had thunderstorms in Florida. But what happened in Florida should not have happened with all the airlines, except I think United actually did the best. Actually, I know they did the best. But JetBlue, my sister was on JetBlue, stuck. Just got out 2 days ago, but I heard from people on Southwest.
Wait a minute. She was
Alaska.
stuck. She was stuck last week. She was stuck until 2 days ago?
Yes, she got stuck for 4 or 5 extra nights.
Holy cow.
And the airlines, they claim weather, so they don't have to pay for your hotel.
It's not their fault.
They don't have to pay for their hotel, period. But most of them do. The big ones do, just as a gesture of goodwill if you have a delay overnight.
Man.
But then, JetBlue came out saying they're going to buy Spirit this week. They threw a counter offer in. They announced flights to London. I was like, whoa, you guys need to first get your operations here set up. I mean, they don't have enough staff. There's no reason for an airline to put you on hold for hours. Have a callback. They should have an automated callback. It's ridiculous. It infuriates me that I have so many readers had horror stories, and they're just stuck.
If JetBlue buys Spirit, would they keep it still? Because JetBlue's a little higher level of service.
Definitely.
Would they keep the Spirit low-cost airline going as a low-cost airline? Or are they just buying the routes and the planes?
Well, they need the planes. They have a lot of the same routes, but they need the routes. But I think, the manufacturers can't make airplanes quick enough, and Spirit has a large order, so they want those planes.
So they may not be buying Spirit an airline; they may be buying the Spirit the airplanes.
They want the planes, and but Spirit has really tight leg room. They also have one of the worst.
You have to pay
service.
For carry-on. You have to pay for everything, and that, of course, the face value of the ticket is much lower. But you may end up paying as much just when you buy all the extras.
And it's also because Spirit sells these fares for like $9. They want to stop that. That's one way to stop it.
Oh,
so you buy the airline.
But see, that'll get stopped by regulators, right?
I mean, it's going to be a hoop for them to jump through.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But summer travel is going to be a doozy. I wrote a post. I'll put it out. It's because all these airlines are lacking staff. They can't hire enough gate agents, pilots.
It's not just airlines. It's everything, everywhere.
I know, but you really feel the impact when you're traveling because you're stuck. A lot of these places, people are stuck, and then you need to have extra money to pay for these hotels. Fortunately, my other sister lives in Florida, so my sister was able to stay there. Otherwise, spring break, Florida, it was $500 a night for a hotel room. So you keep that in mind when you're traveling. Make sure. Also, real quick, I heard you playing the baseball theme song right before.
Oh, we love baseball.
If you have T-Mobile this week, you get MLB TV for free.
I signed up.
You sign up by Tuesday.
Get their Tuesday. What is it? Their Manic Tuesday thing.
You got to download their app. They're 2 for Tuesdays or whatever.
Yeah. I do
it every year.
T-Mobile Tuesdays. They do that every year. You get MLB the app and you get a full subscription.
Yes, but it's only on your phone, and maybe your. Actually, I think it's just your phone.
Still, that's a heck of a deal.
It is. It's $139, and I watched the Yankees game last night. So you have to watch the games out of market. So you cannot watch your Giants in San Francisco,
right?
But you can watch them when they're playing the Dodgers.
Can you listen? Because I know with TuneIn I can listen to the radio.
I don't know about out of market.
Yeah. Anyway,
I think it's
nice.
But it's a great little.
That's only going to be good till Tuesday morning, and then they have a new one.
No, well, I mean,
free chicken sandwich from Jack in the Box next Tuesday.
There are other deals.
I would take the Major League Baseball over the free chicken sandwich.
Yeah, so that's how you get that. Also, speaking of these airlines and operations, I wrote a post this week called "How to Reach an Airline's Reservation Agent Without Waiting," which is important. So if you're at the airport, the first thing you want to do is try and get to the airport club. If they have one, you can usually buy a membership for $50 a day pass. Or if they don't, just stand in line, find a gate agent or a customer service agent. And if there's a vacant gate agent, you can even waive a $20 bill because time is of essence. And, get on the 800 number, see if they have a chat feature, tweet them up. It's very important to do that. Also, there's international numbers. Call their international number. Especially, if you're flying one of the major carriers like American, Delta, United, call London or call Sydney using Skype. Find out their number. Every website mentions, writes down their international number, and that way, most likely you won't have to wait for hours. You might have to wait for 10 minutes, but that's a great way to save time.
I got another tip for you.
Yeah.
Do not bite your flight attendant.
Definitely don't do that.
Two of the largest fines ever handed out.
$81,000.
$81,000.
I read that.
Wow. For unruly passengers.
You're a lunatic if you bite a flight attendant. I mean, seriously.
One was, but I mean, I can't remember. I have to get but these are from the FAA.
Yes, but I've dated a flight attendant for 4 years.
You didn't ever bid her? And all that time.
But I learned how difficult their jobs are. That's why I started bringing. Job. Actually, I was bringing chocolates before I even met her.
So a woman who is, I think, in both cases, the passenger threatened to open the cabin door. This is another thing you do not want to do in flight. Yeah. A woman who has not been publicly identified faces an $81,950 civil fine after officials said she threatened a flight attendant she fell down. Flight attendant offered to help her after a fall. She got up, tried to open the cabin door, head-butted, bit and spit at crew members. Maybe she was having a breakdown. I mean, that's not normal behavior.
And now you wonder why airlines are having a hard time finding flight attendants.
The other one, facing a $77,000 fine, she tried to hug and kiss another passenger and then tried to, quote, exit during flight.
Well, you can't open the door, so you don't have to worry about that. That door is impossible to open.
Do not open the doors. Do not try to open the doors. You will get a big fine.
The flight attendant should have bit her, is what should have happened.
Yeah. No, you're not allowed to bite back. Wow. I'm glad that these fines are getting handed out because this is...
Let's see if they get paid.
Yeah, right. A
lot of times they don't follow up.
Yeah. But I noticed that's when the FAA really gets serious, is when you try to open a door in flight. Do not, okay?
I mean, yeah.
Do not. Yeah.
I mean, I've flown, I don't know how many times, thousands of times. I've never seen that or even come close to that.
Yeah.
So it's very...
Let me out of here. I think in both cases, these people were had breakdowns. I don't think this is normal behavior. Yeah. This isn't bad behavior. This is mental illness, I think. It's got to be.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think the pandemic had played a part.
People are doing poorly, but we're back on the road again. Now I know there've been coronavirus outbreaks in New York City and Washington D.C. and some of New England that we may be with this new variant. We may be going back. Is the FAA going to lift mask mandates this month?
I don't think they will. I think it's going to be another month, but I think they eventually will. It all depends on hospitalizations. I mean, if people get sick,
right,
I think they're okay with it. They just don't want hospitalizations.
The good news is, at least in the case of the Washington D.C. illness, is minor illness. You know, all these people are vaccinated, and nobody got seriously ill, which is great. So,
my money's on June 1st. They're going to
June 1st, you think?
But anything can change. I mean, that's the thing with this.
I know.
No one really knows.
Well, you know how you find out. You listen to Johnny Jet right here, right?
That's right. And I also have a number for Delta Airlines. If you have travel within in the next 48 hours, you cannot call them if you have a flight for 3 days from now. It has to be within 48 hours, and you can get through within 15 minutes. I got this from Gary Leff, 1-855-548-2505.
But the best way to get this information is to go to Johnny's website, johnnyjet.com. Subscribe to his newsletters. They're free, johnnyjet.com/newsletter. Listen to his podcast. It's free, johnnyjet.com/podcast. Follow him on Instagram and Twitter. And listen for him every week right here. Going anywhere this week?
I hope so.
Johnny Jet, travel guy, safe travels. That's the right answer. I hope so. I hope so.
My son is sick right now. He just came down with he's got a fever last night.
Did you test him?
Not yet. We're just about to, but we think he might have hand, foot, and mouth because our neighbor said it's going around, and he just said his hands hurt. I was like, what?
Yeah, it's very contagious. Yeah. Despite the name, it's not, I don't think, a serious illness. It's the new childhood illness.
I've had it. He had it.
Yeah.
He had it 3 years ago, and I got it. I had these dots in my hand, and no one knew what they were.
It's very infectious.
And his mouth was hurting, and we took him to the dentist. The doctor's like, I have no idea what it is. It's like, what? I got to get a new dentist.
Yeah. It's like us. We had a faucet that wasn't working.
Right now.
Oh, look at that. You're getting a notification. Yeah. Are you a big Dodgers fan?
No, Yankees.
That's right.
I grew up in Southern Connecticut.
That's right, Yankees.
I watched them beat the Red Sox.
How exciting. That's an exciting opening. That's a good home opener.
Yeah.
Yankees Sox. Were they at the Fenway? Or?
Yeah, no, they're in Yankee Stadium. The house that Jeter built.
Jeter built, yeah. The Bronx Bombers. Okay, the house that Jeter built. Because the old was the house that Ruth built.
Exactly.
Yeah, but they're still in the Bronx, aren't they?
Oh, they're right next door to each other.
There you go.
I've been to both, and I've been to World Series at both stadiums, and it was amazing.
Being a Yankees fan is kind of like being a Lakers fan.
Hey, growing up, it was not like that.
Oh, come on.
Actually, 78 and 79, the Yankees won, I think 81 too. But then they didn't win until again to 95, I think.
Yeah.
Or 96. I think the strike period was 95.
See, I'm a Red Sox fan, so you're asking the wrong.
I thought you were a Giants fan.
Well, I'm a Giants fan because I live in San Francisco area now. But
yeah, I understand.
I grew up watching the Red Sox. If you're a Yankees fan, I get to be a Red Sox fan.
Bucky Dent. I got 2 words for you.
Yes, Carl Yastrzemski. All right. Hey, have a great week. I hope you do get to go somewhere, and I hope your son feels better.
Thank you. Have a great week.
Little Johnny Jet. Little Jackie Jet.
No Johnny.
Little Jackie Jet. All right, take care.
See you around.
Bye, Johnny.
See ya.
You take it? All right. Oh, you know. There's target screen mode
for older
but
Macs.
It's not for all Macs. It's kind of
2014
frustrating that they stopped doing that. Little Johnny. Yeah, I found my learning Python book.
Have you heard of oh, now I've forgotten what it's called.
Book?
Just had it's a language.
I've heard of
Forth.
all of them. Yeah, I'm a big Forth fan. I love Forth. There was one of the best computer books ever written was a book called Starting Forth by Leo Brody that really made it accessible. Forth's fun. It's not. It was originally designed. In fact, I interviewed the creator.
Oh, really?
On Tech TV many years ago. It was originally designed to control. It was an astronomer to control telescopes. It works really well in embedded systems robotics because it's very compact, and you can essentially the way it works is you write a language, you write words instead of functions, and then you string them together. So
hey, you point at star.
Yeah, basically.
Kind of like AppleScript.
The other thing that's interesting, it's stack-based, which is
That term I don't understand. What does that mean?
That's complicated. Well, if you had a stack of dishes, instead of, all programs allocate memory for variables and then operate on the memory. In Forth, you have a stack, which is pre-allocated, and it's like a stack of dishes. And so if you want to add 1 plus 1, the way you add 1 plus 1 on Forth is you put 1 on the stack, then you put another 1 on the stack, then you put plus on the stack, and it adds them. It is reverse Polish.
Is the stack as big or as small as you want it to be? Or you only,
pretty much, yeah. I mean, there's some limits, yeah. But that way of thinking works. It's cool. It's very interesting. It's just interesting, though. Da-da-da, da-da-da, dee-dee-dee, do-do-do, da-da, da-da-da. I always think when I listen to songs like this how much fun it would be to be the keyboard guy. Da-da-da, da-da-da. I could do that. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy 2, Mikah Sargent here. On we go with the show and the calls, and Debbie in Anaheim. Hello, Debbie in Anaheim.
Hi, how are you, Leo?
I am well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm calling with something that's probably a real easy problem, and you probably can fix it in no time. This week I tried to log into my banking website, and it kept telling me that my browser was out of date.
Yes.
So I went in and I checked what version I had, and it keeps telling me I need to have 76 or better for Firefox.
Yeah.
And I have 99.
Right. So what the heck?
It will not work.
99 is current, by the way. It's the current version of Firefox. Good job.
Right. And so I've spent a lot of time trying to contact the bank and their IT department. I went into the bank. I tried contacting Firefox. And I'm wondering if there's anything I can do, if there's a setting that I have.
Yeah. This is solvable. So you're sure you have 99 of Firefox? You checked in the About Firefox box.
I did. I went in there and I went into Help and Firefox, and it tells you my version. Yes.
And you're running Windows
10.
Okay, good. One thing to try, I know you may not like it, is to see, it comes with a browser called Edge, is to see if you can go into the same site. Just copy and paste the URL into Edge and see if it works.
I did it with Google, and I can get in.
And you can't. Okay, you tried Chrome and you can't.
Yeah, so that was their answer to the question. They said, why don't you just use another browser?
Well, but we want to know what's wrong.
Yeah,
exactly.
By asking you to do that, though, they and I have answered a lot of other subsidiary questions. For instance, if your date and time is wrong on your computer, sometimes that can cause a problem because the certificates the bank uses to encrypt its traffic to you is time-based. And if you are back in 1908, it won't work. It'll say, no. But that's not it either.
My date and time is correct. I'm
Good.
looking at it at the bottom.
Good. So it's the good news and the bad news is it's somehow tied to Firefox. Look at the extensions you're running in Firefox. That's the other thing to start looking at. Under more tools. Is it more tools? No, it's always, all the browsers are different.
There's more tools here.
But that's not I think it's, that's not where extensions live. I thought that's where they lived. It's, I guess it's under the settings.
Okay.
And at the bottom it says extensions and themes.
Yes.
And it says manage your extensions. You want to make sure that you know every extension that belongs and it's there and that you put it there.
Okay.
Are you looking at them right now?
I am. So I have manager extensions, and it has my mouse, and it has I have malware bytes on my computer.
Okay, take that off.
Okay, so turn that off.
Yeah, or you can just disable it for right now. That little blue button, you just turn that off.
All right, yes, I did that. I have
very often security software causes these problems. So
Okay.
so you don't really need malware bytes in your browser. What else do you have in there?
I have Zoom on there.
Yeah, that should be harmless.
And my homepage. And
what's my homepage?
Yahoo homepage.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that should be harmless.
And the only other thing that's on there is Honey, which is a shopping thing that looks
my wife uses Honey as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Try disabling malware bytes and see if it works.
Okay.
because it's not unusual for the problem with security. It can be over-aggressive, and it can get in the way. And Malwarebytes extension might well be doing some proxying or something odd with your browser. So I would definitely, you don't really need that. In fact, if you're really worried about malware, Windows has its own anti-malware built in that's sufficient. No need to run an extension. Anything you give extension permissions to has access to everything you do in the browser. So is always a potential security and privacy risk. For instance, Honey, one of the reasons Honey is such a great thing is because they sell marketing information about you. They're watching everything you do. As long as you know that, who cares? Because you're getting, my wife, every time she gets her Rakuten check, waves it in my face. Because I say, well, honey, you shouldn't be running that stuff. And she says, she got $38 right here that says I should be. So as long as you understand that that's why they're giving you money, they're basically paying for, your marketing information. But that's harmless. Yeah. That's not a security issue.
All right. I have one more question.
Sure.
That's unrelated. Do I have to have OneDrive on here?
No, and this is really annoying. Microsoft.
It's very annoying.
Yeah.
It pops up all the time, and it makes everything a mess.
Yeah, the Microsoft wants you to use OneDrive because they charge you for it ultimately. It's free. First one's free, kid. And then as soon as you put anything significant on it, it's a real problem. So turning it off is actually kind of hard because Microsoft really wants you to do it. So there are ways to disable it. What are you getting? You're getting pop-ups?
Yes, it pops up a little window and it says OneDrive isn't operational.
Yeah, why aren't you signed in? Yeah.
I just want to get rid of it because it's causing me problems.
I don't blame you. So I'm going to put a ridiculous article from Microsoft in the show notes of how to turn off OneDrive. It's so annoying. You won't lose any files. You can still go to OneDrive.com. But honestly, uninstalling it is probably the best thing to do. So if you look for it in your add or remove programs and you find OneDrive, just uninstall it. It won't bother you anymore. If you've started using it, you might not want to do that. But if you haven't used it at all, just uninstall it.
I know they're always wanting me to use everything Microsoft, and I prefer Firefox, and so they're always trying to get me to use everything.
I just want to say thank you for using Firefox. I really, seriously, Firefox, which used to be one of the big two browsers, has shrunk in size over the last few years. In fact, the latest stats say that number one browser by far, 80 to 90%, is Chrome. Number two is now Microsoft Edge, which is based on Chrome. Number three is Safari, and that's only Apple users. And Firefox is a distant fourth, way behind, and shrinking. And we need to have, I believe, a diverse ecosystem of browsers. It's good for security. If everything becomes Chrome or a Chrome derivative, that's very bad. So I use Firefox too. I think it's a great browser. I love all the features of it. I would just say make sure. The other thing Firefox does do, your bank who's your bank?
Chase.
Okay, I don't think Chase is going to.
Well, when I went into the bank today, because I went in and I talked to the manager, and they said, we use Firefox. And I said, okay.
Yeah, well, there you go.
On my end. So
good for them.
So I thought, I'm going to go home and call you.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything Chase is doing that would keep Firefox out. So it's probably security software. I'm going to bet it's Malwarebytes.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to give that a try. Thank you so much, Leo.
Thanks for the call.
All right. Have a great weekend.
You too. Now we go on to John in St. George, Utah. Hi, John.
Hi, Leo. You had a caller in earlier was talking about getting rid of his iMac. I don't know what year it was, and then getting Mac Mini.
Yes.
And so my question was, could he use his old iMac, or if I came across an old iMac, could I use that as a display or monitor for my Mac Mini?
This is a fantastic question, John, because a lot of people actually have this, and that's partially because it used to be the case that, yes, you could take an iMac and set it up as a display for another Mac. It could be any other Mac. You could have a MacBook Pro or something else and plug it in and be able to use it. The problem is we've got to take a break.
The problem is we got 10 seconds left.
Yeah.
It has to be pre-2014, right?
Yes.
To use target
display
screen mode. Okay.
Target display mode.
But if it's later than that, no. Apple took it away. Leo Laporte, Mikah, Sargent, your tech guys. More to come right after this. I'm sorry. I forgot that we go out early, or I wouldn't have gone to the caller. So, yeah, the question is good, but it really depends on the age of the iMac.
Yeah. So what happened is that Apple made a bunch of displays, newer displays that require too much throughput. And
is that why?
Yeah, they ran out of an ability. You would have had to use 2 Thunderbolt cords in these modern Macs in order
to
to
try it, you shut down the Mac, then you turn it on holding down Option. So for target disk mode, it's Option T. For target display mode, is it Option
Command
D?
F2.
Command F2. Oh, well, there you go. If you have a function key. That's one other thing that holds it
With
back.
those old Macs, you would.
You would, yeah. Command F2.
Because both Macs have to be older. Even the one that you're plugging in.
Oh, even the old one has to. I mean, the Mac has to be.
2019 or earlier.
So I couldn't do it with my M1 and an old Mac.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, I discovered something when I was on hold that might work. It's called Luna Display from Apple.
Luna's awesome.
Yep, that is an option. It's a hacky option. It works, but you're buying an extra device. And
the problem is you're now running the iMac, the old iMac, as an iMac. It has to be running full bore, has to be booted up for it to use Luna. Or any of these screen sharing techniques. Luna has a little dongle that you put in, which I actually have, and I think Luna's a cool idea.
From the folks at AstroPad,
yeah.
If you're looking, we'll of course include a link in the show notes.
So you could put the Luna dongle. You'd have to boot up the iMac. The reason that these older iMacs are issues is because they can't go to Monterey, and so increasingly they're going to be security problems. I guess if you don't put it on you're only using it as a monitor. It's not online. That's probably all right. Yeah, Luna's a good choice. So do you have one of these? Is that why this came up for you, John?
Have one of what?
Old Mac. Old iMac?
No, I have an M1 Mac Mini.
Oh, you're just thinking in terms of helping this caller. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and also I'm thinking, I'd like to have a different monitor, a better monitor. Right now, I just have a 22-inch old 720p.
Oh yeah. You need a better monitor.
TV/monitor.
Yeah.
But,
with the Mac Mini, you wouldn't be. If you've got an M1 Mac, it will not work with target display mode.
Yeah.
You would have to do the AstroPad thing if you wanted to use an older Mac for that. So your better bet is getting a third-party display like the ones we talked about earlier.
So if you don't already have the iMac lying around, then I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I might get lucky and find one at a thrift shop or garage sale.
Yeah, you might, and then you have to buy Luna, which is not free.
Yeah.
You can get $200 monitors that are 10 times better than what you've got right now. So I would say that's probably the right route. I mean, if you find a 2013 iMac, it's not going to be more than $20. It's going to be cheap. Luna's another, $20 or $40? So possibly.
Luna display is $140.
Oh, and the Mac has to run, by the way. It has to be bootable and running. And what's the minimum? You know what? I bet it won't work because I bet Luna requires a modern Mac.
That's a good question.
Go get a cheap display. You can get good displays, 4K displays for a couple $100 now. That's the real answer. They're so cheap now.
Yeah, I've been thinking about maybe a TV, another TV, but the 32-inch TVs, I think only are 720p.
Yeah, exactly.
40-inch are 1080p. You have to go to 43-inch to get 4K.
Right.
I don't know if I want one that bad.
You'd be better off just, I'm telling you, this monitor I'm looking at, this is a great monitor. You could watch a TV on it too, by the way.
Your curved one?
Yeah, $300. Three something. Yeah, and that's a very modern, high dynamic range, high frame rate. If you're willing to get, just a regular 4K monitor, it's a couple $100 nowadays. They're very cheap.
Mm-hmm. Where did you get yours?
Amazon, the world famous Amazon. I'll tell you the exact model number, and I'll tell you the exact price too, so that you know, because I'm probably understating it here. I think it was for some reason $363 is stuck in my mind, but I'm running it with an M1 Mini, and it's a Samsung 32-inch Odyssey G5 gaming monitor, is what they call it. It's curved, which is a negative, but it was $299, $300. There is a 27-inch version of this that is $289. So I'd spend the $10 and get the 32-inch. And actually, curved is fine if you're just using it like a monitor. If I were just sitting here, this would be great. It's because I'm off angle that it's weird that it's curved, and I'm getting used to it. So
yeah, I sit pretty close to the monitor.
Yeah, that's a great. This is for $299. Fantastic monitor. 140. If you get the right cable, the DisplayPort cable off your Mini, it'll run at 120 hertz. It's 1 millisecond lag time, which is incredible for a LCD. 2560 by 1440. HDR10. So you can watch TV on this too if you hooked up or you hook your computer up and put Netflix on it or whatever. It'd look beautiful.
Hey, have you heard of Ozo Audio? Mobile devices.
Ozo sounds dimly familiar. No, tell me what it is.
Well, it's AI proprietary software from Nokia. They license to other cell phone manufacturers.
Yeah.
And so I guess if you record something, it's supposed to have much better sound and.
Oh, I'll have to check it out.
Type sound and
it's spatial.
If you record something in Ozo Audio, it can be played on any player. It doesn't need any kind of equipment.
We should do our shows in it. Oh, I know that name. That was the $30,000 Ozo cameras that Nokia sold. We actually did an entire show on an Ozo with that spatial sound. So that's interesting. They're doing the sound separately now because they did discontinue the Ozo cameras.
Yeah, a VR camera.
Yeah.
60 degrees.
Alex Lindsay had one. It looked like a soccer ball. It was hysterical. And we shot a whole MacBreak Weekly on it. But the video was so big, he never put it out the whole show because it was too huge. So I think we only did 10 minutes. Let me see if I can find that.
Yeah, I found it.
So, yeah. I know that name. Yeah. So, that's cool that they're putting out just the audio portion of that. Yeah, 2016, MacBreak Weekly in 360 degrees with a Nokia Ozo.
Renee calling in on a studio display.
That's wild. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. So, do you have to buy special hardware to record it, or?
Well, it's software based. It's AI software, and they license it to other cell phone manufacturers.
That's why.
Other cell phone manufacturers.
Okay, so you can't get it yourself.
Well, if I got like a Nokia phone, for example, I had my eye on one that has that feature built in, and there's a lot of different aspects of it. You check that out. Maybe you can ask Scott. I don't know if he has.
I will. I'll ask him about it.
In that.
Yeah. This is the video that we're shooting in 360 in the old brick. What's cool is a good record of the old studio. There you can see this was the best part of the old studio.
It was in 4K all the way back then?
Yeah. Oh, it was a $30,000 camera.
It better be in 4K.
Yeah. It was hugely expensive. Look at that. So the audio would have been an Ozo Audio as well. So that's interesting. That's what they're doing. They're keeping the technology. This was a beautiful studio. I think the government is selling the building. Anyway, thank you, John. I appreciate it. Hope we helped.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Enjoy your M1.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thanks, Leo.
Nice. Yeah, really. I'm honestly just as happy with the M1 as I am with the studio. This is cool.
I know. Now I'm just playing.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, this is really cool. And there's a cake on the desk.
It must have been
500, episode 500.
Is episode 500. Cool. That's why Andy did a cake on 800. Look at that. This was such a nice place. You never saw this.
I never got to see it, no.
So this is the living room set was right over there. This was Lisa's office. She could stand there and glower at us through the window. My office was on the other side, also had a window there. There's the Ozo in the shot.
Oh, there's somebody who just walked in and they closed the door.
Yeah, that was part of the problem. One of the reasons nobody ever liked this studio is because it was open. So all the people were working in the studio. There's Radio Corner. This was the TNW set right there.
What's that white thing up there?
Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smart cameras. Hour 3 of the Tech Guy Show. I am here with Mikah Sargent, Tech Guy 2.
Hello.
And we're taking your calls, 888-827-5536. Several times during the show, I've said, I'll put it in the show notes, but I always forget to tell you where those are. They're at techguylabs.com. techguylabs.com. And this is episode 1883. Oh, we finally got in up to the 1880s. That's good. 1883. So, nowadays, modern podcasts, they do seasons. So I could say, I guess I would say, since this is 1,883 divided by, would you do a new season every year?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So this would be season 18, episode, 20. We do 2 a week. Oh, that's, yeah. Well, anyway, you get the idea.
You get it.
1883. It's easy to remember, to be honest with you. Danny is on the line from San Marcos, California. Hello, Danny.
Hey, Leo. How you doing, Mikah? It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
I got a quick question for both of you guys. First, for you, Leo. I'm looking for a quality duplicate finder, kind of like on the bit level rather than the title level. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, because you want to not base your duplicates on the name of the file or even the date of the file, but you want to base it on the contents of the file.
Yeah, bit by bit, anything that's changed on that file.
Yeah, the way they do it, modern way they do it is with either a hash or a CRC, which is just another form of hash, where they actually they analyze the contents of the file in such a way that they produce a long number, and if one bit is changed, that number changes. So the reason they do it that way is it's faster than going one bit at a time. But it's absolutely effective. You will not eliminate duplicates, even if they have different names, different creation dates, and so forth. What kind of files are you doing it for? Images, music?
Everything. From video files to audio to documents, any kind of file.
You got a lot of duplicates. Then the other question is Mac or PC?
Both, but mainly Mac.
Well, we've got the answer for you.
You were the one who taught me about this program.
The wonderful folks at MacPaw make an excellent application called Gemini. It's now in its second iteration, so Gemini 2.
Highly recommended.
It is a fantastic way to be able to find all sorts of duplicates, be they files, be they folders, be they photos, etc. It's got a great built-in UI for photos in particular, so that you can find ones that are duplicates. And what I like is the Gemini 2 also features the ability to kind of see similar photos. So you may
show them side by side even and say,
exactly.
Is this the same?
I want this. Oh, I don't want this.
As soon as you edit a photo, it's technically not the same, right? They edited a copy, but you may think of it as the same.
And you can keep it running in the background. They've got this great duplicate monitor, so that if you accidentally end up creating duplicates after you've done that first scan, it'll say, hey, it looks like you doubled up on this. You may want to get rid of one of these options. I've run it on my network attached storage, on my PC itself, and all over the place. Gemini 2, honestly, it's the first one I recommend when people ask.
It's a subscription app, so you pay $20 a year. But here's another reason to get it. MacPaw is in Ukraine. It's a Ukrainian company, and they're a great company, really smart, really good developers, and of course they're suffering thanks to the invasion of Ukraine. So you're supporting, in a way, you're standing with Ukraine just by buying MacPaw. You're getting a great program, which we've been recommending for years anyway.
Got you.
Yeah.
I'm on it.
Yeah, so I highly recommend. Now, Windows, there are other programs that do the same thing. This is iOS and Mac OS only. They do have an iOS version for this.
Okay, now for Mikah, quick question on Minecraft: Java or Bedrock?
I don't play Minecraft. I'm sorry.
I only play Java on my. I have 5 Minecraft servers running in the other room. They're all running on Java.
Okay,
but you tell me, is Bedrock better? Because Bedrock is the one you play on like Xbox and in the Windows Store and so forth. Is Bedrock better? It's different, right? You get realms and stuff like that.
From what I understand, I have a discussion with my 10-year-old about Java and Bedrock.
Oh, what does your 10-year-old prefer? That's what matters.
Here he is, right here.
I prefer Java.
Yay!
Woo!
Good man. It's the best, isn't it?
I told her Java was full of security holes, though.
No, not in this case, because you're just running it standalone on the computer. It's just the language it was written in. It's not a security problem at all. Here's a good tip, though, for your 10-year-old. For your 10-year-old. Minecraft, you can get a Raspberry Pi this is actually how I got started in Minecraft serving. You get a Raspberry Pi that has a version of Minecraft from Microsoft with a plugin that lets you program it with Python. If you want to get a 10-year-old into computer programming, you tell them you can build an entire castle with one command. You can design a beautiful city, make it entirely a whole program, one command. You just watch it go. Brrr. There's a really good book for this from No Starch Press on programming, learning how to program using Minecraft. Do you think your 10-year-old might be interested in programming?
Yes, he would.
Uh-huh. Learn to program in Python, which...
that's what we're doing.
Yeah, you will tell me, Mikah will tell you, is the best way to program. It's called Learn to Program with Minecraft from the No Starch Press. It is so cool because we'll tell your 10-year-old, for instance, in fact, this is one of the first programs you write. You can build a bridge out of dynamite. It blows up as you cross it. It's so much fun. It's a really, I think it's a good way to get kids into programming with Python. It's a very good book.
And it's called Learn to Program?
Learn to Program with Minecraft by Craig Richardson.
We'll have a link in the
No
show
Starch
notes.
Press. It's actually wonderful. And it's nice because it's when you're a kid learning to program, it seems very abstract, so having something that they love already, Minecraft, and showing them how you can build stuff in Minecraft as a program really connects with them, I think. It's a very good way to teach a kid how to program. So if he's interested in that, really highly recommend it. I actually interviewed Craig about this. Udemy has classes on this as well. This is Minecraft and Python go together very nicely.
Yeah, he knows a couple languages already. Which ones are they, Benny?
C#, Scratch, Python, Perl, and Java.
Holy cow!
You can teach us.
Holy cow! Forget what I just said. He should be teaching us.
He's teaching me.
That's good. He's definitely motivated. He's going places. That's really, really cool. Scratch is a great programming language for kids from MIT. Obviously, that's one he picked up in school. I don't know where he picked up C#. He's just a sharp kid. That's all. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I appreciate you guys and keep it going.
Java, baby, not Bedrock. Java.
Thank you, Danny.
Take care. Wow,
that's amazing.
I know C#. I know Python. I know Scratch. I know Java.
Wow.
Man,
amazing.
Yeah. Isn't it? But so not every kid is going to be that inclined, right?
Right.
But boy, if you're a 10-year-old today and you are so inclined,
that's such a perfect time to be learning those languages too.
I wish I'd learned all this stuff when I was 10.
Too.
Yeah. Amazing. 8888 Ask Leo. We'll talk about anything. If you want to talk tech, Mikah, Sargent, and I are here for another 45 minutes. Coming up, Dick DeBartolo, Mad Magazine's maddest writer, with a crazy gizmo or gadget. You stay right here. C#, I know.
NBD.
Python. No big deal. It's so cute. So cute. I'm really glad, actually, in hindsight, that he did this, because it really
It's a good capture. Yeah,
is
what
a
is that
capture
thing hanging there?
That is a sheep. Because that camera is at head level for some people, like Jason Howell. So the sheep is so that he doesn't walk into it, because you can hardly see it.
Oh, yeah. It looks like it's in the background.
Yeah.
So now I see.
Yeah.
It's
So,
foreground. Yeah.
yeah. That was just one of many little. This is the disco ball from the New Year's Eve thing. I don't know if we have your balloon drop, John, that he spent so many hours building. I don't know if that's visible. Who's bad? Are you bad? I'm not bad.
I.
No, we're good. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888, Ask Leo, asking the eternal question.
Who's bad?
Who's bad? Tom on the line from Santa Cruz, California. Hi, Tom.
Hey.
Welcome. Come on over to the phone, Tom.
Here I am.
Join the show.
My wife, Joy, called in for me when I was out.
Oh, that's fine. Hi, Joy. Thank you.
I just got a Microsoft Surface Go 2 tablet.
Oh, you got the new one.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. I love those. Well, I mean, I love how they look.
I'm jealous when I try to tell you the one. What I want to do is obviously be able to use the apps that are on my desktop when I'm traveling or out of the house or downstairs.
Yeah, it's a little portable tablet. Has an attachable keyboard and pen. Very portable.
However, I've been using Chrome as my browser on my desktop.
Uh-oh.
And I wanted to use it on the laptop, on the tablet, too.
Yeah.
But I have to get to it from Edge.
Right.
So I go in and I Google,
Yeah, you go on Edge, you type chrome.google.com.
Yeah.
And what happens?
It says you don't really need Chrome anymore. And I said, well, I want to download it anyway. So I tried to download it.
Yeah.
And it won't do it.
But you don't need it? What do you want it for? What's wrong with you?
I'm just...
I know. I know.
And one reason is I have certain bookmarks on Chrome, on Chrome that I can take and independently put on my desktop.
Sure.
To access them without bringing. I try to do that with Edge, and it won't let me, which is annoying. And so all I want to do, I got a few other...
So there's a couple of possibilities. I'm wondering, when you got it, they don't do this anymore, but if it came with Windows 10 S.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
You're in S mode, and you want to leave S mode.
Yeah, you want to leave S mode because one of the reasons, so S, which Microsoft declines to tell us what the S stands for, simple, safe, special, stupid. I don't know. It was designed to be more secure and only allow you to download apps from the Microsoft App Store. And that, guess what, doesn't include Chrome. So the solution to this is, and the nice thing is it's very quick and easy, turn off S mode, and then it'll be a normal Windows tablet. And you'll be able to put Chrome on it just like it does do on any other Windows machine.
How do I turn off S mode? Because when I tried, it didn't want to...
It said, but what do you want to do that for? Why would you ever want to turn off S mode? Okay, so you do this in by looking at your system in the activation area.
Okay, that's down here in the lower left.
Yeah, control panel, settings, system, activation.
Right.
And you'll see a switch out of S. So let's see. The way they do make this complicated. By the way, I should warn you, switching out of S mode is one way. You can never go back.
Oh,
okay.
Really? You can't?
No, it's one way. Although you could, if you save if you reinstall, I think it'll reinstall as S mode. I believe. I don't know.
Okay, well, let's get out of S mode because I don't feel safe anyway.
There is a section that says switch to a Windows 11 Pro, which is not what you want to do, but there's a button that says go to the store. And then you go to the store, and that's where you switch out of S mode. Isn't that ironic?
Isn't that ironic? Now, I clicked on the little Windows thing, and it's got, I don't see the store right here, but it's probably down this whole list of things, right? Microsoft.
Yeah, you can actually just open the store. which if you hit Windows key and type STORE, you'll get it. And you hit
Well,
return.
I've got it. Microsoft Store.
Yeah, and then search for S mode or switch out of S mode, and it's kind of like you're installing an app. And then, so you find switch out of S mode, and you press the get button like you're installing an app, right? Except you're not. What you're doing is you're turning off S mode, which is a very quick and simple thing to do. You don't even. Turns out you have full Windows installed. You're just going to flip a switch.
It's a switch out of S mode.
Yeah, and press the get it.
It has
Like
all this.
Yeah.
Switch out of S mode. You may want to think of.
Oh my God! Thank you, Microsoft. Nobody wants S mode. Nobody. I think they were hoping that kids would want it, like a Chromebook, like in schools. Even there, they turn it off. I think they stopped doing it. I think maybe not.
It says down for free, get, and then it has a list of features.
Yeah, it seems like you're getting something. You're not. It's like a registry entry. They're going to flip a switch. That's all.
Okay, well, how do I get out of it? I don't see anybody.
Press get. Get it.
Press get. Okay.
You're like you're buying it, but you're not. I know. This is Microsoft logic. This is just the way they do it. But now you can put Chrome on there and anything else on there.
Oh, okay, so I can just access Chrome from Edge.
Yeah, just like you were doing, except this time it won't say, no, you can't do that. Why would you ever? Why would anybody ever want to do that?
I've been pulling my hair out over this.
I know. Forget about it.
Okay. Well, this will get me through. I'll let you talk to other people because I have some things that I'll probably burden the Geek Squad with later. But this was driving me nuts.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Okay. Well, no, I'm glad you called because I think you're not alone. And that's a cute little device. I love the way the pen stows in the keyboard.
I like it too.
It's not the fastest thing out there. It's a Pentium Gold processor and stuff. But, it's a cute little device. If it's fast enough for what you want to do, I think that's a good choice. Glenn on the line from Los Angeles, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Glenn.
Hi, Leo. How are you?
I am great. How are you?
I couldn't be any better, except I get too many emails. If I don't clear my box out on a daily basis, it accumulates up to 400 emails.
Wow.
50% are which are emails I don't need or want, yeah.
So you're in the Inbox Zero Club. You like to have nothing in your inbox.
No, I just want to have all my emails unread. So, so literally, I put them into the junk box. I try to, whatever I do, they keep coming back. How do I fix that?
Whatever I do, they keep pulling me in.
Exactly.
Yeah, honestly, I think this is sort of a problem with email. It's one of the reasons I no longer, if you want to reach me, Mikah, do you send me an email?
No way.
It's not the most efficient way to reach me because I get so many and stuff gets lost in the pile, and it's a pile. I am not of the Inbox Zero religion. There are people. You look like the type that might be.
I look like the kind that would be, but no. I've
it's too hard.
1,500 unread emails, and it just doesn't affect
So the secret with email, in my opinion, is to...
I'm on pins and needles.
Yeah, you're dying, right? What program do you use for email? What do you use?
I'm using the iOS email that comes. It's just called Mail. My iOS.
No, that's good. Yeah. The reason I'm asked is because there's different terminology. Gmail calls them filters. No, what? Yeah, I think they call it. What does Gmail call it?
No, I can't remember.
Rules or something. Labels. That's it. Which is really a bad name for it. Apple Mail calls it filters. Sometimes they call it mail rules. But the secret is pre-processing your email as it's coming in and writing the right rules. And I'll give you a few rules when we come back because there are some rules that I use that I think save a lot of time. And then you're going to have to make some of your own. But hang on. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Rules are the key. My wife, who also has a lot of email and doesn't have the luxury I do of not reading it because she's running the business.
Got it.
So she has many, 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 many folders. Again, with Gmail, you'd call them labels. You call them folders with Apple Mail. So make folders for, like, for instance, I have folders for family, folders for clients. You might even have, if you do a lot of business with somebody, a whole folder just for an individual client. But make folders as a way of thinking about how do I want to organize my mail. And then you make rules. You can easily do it by going to a message that would typify that rule. Let's say I want to have a Mikah folder. I'd go to a message from Mikah, right-click the message, and it even says, make a rule from this message. And you're going to make a rule based on, it could be a variety of things. It could be almost anything. The contents of the mail, the to, the from, or the subject. Most commonly, you do it on subject or from. But here's a trick. Here's a couple of tricks I have. One is I do it on, I don't know if Apple Mail will do this or not. My email server will do it, where you say, if this person's not in my contact list, maybe put it differently. If this person is in my contact list, put that in a more important folder. That's like an important person.
Got it.
If I see an email that has unsubscribe in the body, I immediately move that to a mailing list folder. That's a big culprit, right? Stuff that you thought you didn't subscribe to, but they say you did, or maybe accidentally did. But put those all in the mailing list folder. I will filter, and I don't know if Apple Mail will do this. They have quite a few capabilities, but I don't think they have this. You can filter on nation of origin. I don't want any email in Chinese because I can't read it, so I just eliminate it. Sure. So that's essentially, in a nutshell, that's the trick, is to write rules so that before you even open it, you've already got the mail kind of pre-sorted for you.
It's important to know that...
So I get a...
Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead, Michael.
I just wanted to let you know that if you're doing this from an iPhone, you will need to go to the browser iCloud.com and log in, and then go to your mail in order to be able to create
on the
rules.
Mac, yeah.
Unless you have a Mac, in which case you can do it there. On the iPhone itself, it does not let you create these rules.
Yeah. The other thing that's important is to remember the rules go in order. So it's like a funnel. You do so like there's some.
It's like doing a sort on doing a sort on an Excel database.
Precisely. Oh, if you understand that, you're golden.
You're good.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Okay.
So the order of the sort matters, right? So in the same way, the order of the rules matters. So you might want to do like, for instance, I have rules up front, like that no Chinese rule is right up front. There are a few people I send me junk mail. I can't get off their dad joke mailing list or whatever. I put their address and I say, if it comes from this person, just put it aside. You can have it go right to trash if you want.
So how do you get to the rule piece of it? You say I right click on the email. So let's use a simple thing. I'm in the contracting and building business. So let's say I get a Home Depot junk mail from Home Depot as a marketing thing, not one of my bills. I get that in. I can right click on that and say what? So
you've got it open in front of you, right, Mikah?
Yeah.
Does it have a right click, make a rule? It doesn't.
No.
Yeah. This is the problem is I use so many different mail programs. Not all of them have the same capabilities. So you cannot just click on an email and say, make a rule out of this email.
No, it's not.
That's a real failing. That's terrible. So that means you have to go into rules, which is in the preferences. Mm-hmm. And what do they call it? Rules or filters?
They actually call it rules.
Okay.
So yeah, preferences, and then there's a rules option, and you will see that. And even if you're on your Mac, I do recommend doing this on iCloud.com because sometimes the Mac will only
if your mail is going through iCloud.
Yes, this is true.
So if you're not getting mail from iCloud, that's not going to help you at all. So
I have three mail sources that combine. I have a Gmail, an Outlook, and an iCloud.
Hold on a second. We're going to come back. So I'm going to help you here.
All right.
Ooh. I think Jeremiah just wants to play some disco.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Our disco DeBartolo segment coming up in about 15. But that's okay. A little extra disco doesn't hurt. We were on the line with Glenn, and I'm going to spend more time with Glenn on this because this is universal, which is email. I'm getting flooded with email. What do I do about it? And the specifics will vary depending on who you're using for email, the email program you're using. For instance, as I said, if you're using Gmail in the browser, they don't even call it rule. Well, I think they do. They have a funny...
I just checked, and they call it filters.
Filters. And then, but you're adding labels. You're actually not really filtering. In fact, Gmail has a unique ability to put the same mail into multiple labels, which is
but
weird.
You can also completely circumvent labels. You don't.
You can just do filters.
Yeah.
Okay. So for Glenn, he's using Apple Mail, and you said, Glenn, you have mail coming from 3 different email providers.
Yeah, Gmail, Outlook, and iCloud. And so I have a total right now, looking at my inbox, of 446 emails, of which I have to go through and sort. What I do is I click one at a time. I do it at like 2 in the morning, so I can't have any phone calls, no distractions. And I delete 100 emails at a time.
Yeah. I remember when Michael Powell was chairman of the FCC, I interviewed him. He was carrying a BlackBerry at the time. This is many years ago, on his belt. And one of the features of BlackBerry was email. You could actually get email on your BlackBerry. I said, what do you use that for? He says, I use it to delete email. So that before I get to the office, I've deleted 90% of the mail because it's worthless. And this was 20 years ago, right? So it's even more of a problem now. Really the most useful thing you can learn about email is how to use these filters, rules. Sometimes they call them rules, sometimes they call them filters, that will, before you even see the mail, sort it out into folders. So you were saying off the air, you're saying one of the thing is you're a contractor, so you get emails of 2 kinds from Home Depot. You get bills,
yes,
but you also get offers. And this is one of the biggest problems.
Exactly.
This is one of the biggest problems with emails. Half the email's junk, half of it's not.
It's okay to use the unsubscribe button too. Emails usually down at the very bottom of the email, there's a button or a link that you can click to unsubscribe. And this, of course, it takes. Look, you're going to take a vacation for a week in order to take care of this, but I pretty liberally use that unsubscribe button.
It's good to unsubscribe for sure.
You do, all right.
Yeah, it's good to unsubscribe. Yeah, whenever you think about it.
So a lot of them don't give me that.
A lot of them don't.
That option though, Mike.
So this Home Depot one probably is solvable with that filter I mentioned, which is look in the body of the email. If the word unsubscribe occurs, you don't want to delete it because maybe it's by accident. I don't know. Maybe somebody's writing you an email and says unsubscribe. That seems unlikely. Move it into the mailing list folder, and every once in a while you check that. But probably, in all likelihood, marketing emails come from a different address .homedepot.com than bills.homedepot.com. It might be service@homedepot.com or bills so look at the email address specifically, and you can filter on that specifically. So if it's a bill, it probably is a different address than the marketing email. So look at that from address and filter on the from address. One of the tricks I use, not every email program allows this, but is to say, if this person's in my contact list, that should go in an important folder because I know that person.
Got it.
And if it's not,
and that'll be in.
Go ahead.
How do I get to that filter though? That's the question.
I don't know if Apple Mail allows that. I use that on Fast Mail, and I'm not sure. Do you see
Which
a filter?
one is that?
If it's in the contact list. This is, by the way, it doesn't do it. So third-party mailing programs, I use MailMate on the Mac, which will do that. MailMate is a very nice, I think it's $50 email program. It's quite good. I pay $500. Yeah,
I pay $500.
MailMate is not as elegant as Apple Mail, but when it comes to this, it's a power tool. It has another feature I like, which is templates. You probably write the same email a lot. Thanks for your request for proposal. Here's my suggestion, blah, blah, blah. And you probably write that a lot. You can have a template for that. And that's another reason I used MailMate. So MailMate is a paid program that instead of Apple Mail. It has much better email filtering. It's from freeron.com.
We'll include a link.
Freeron.com. We'll put a link in the show notes. But it will let you filter on, I believe, I should check this to make sure, but I believe it'll let you filter on contact list. And then that's nice because if you do want to get mail from somebody, you add them to the contact list. It's not going to go to spam. It's going to go into an important folder. And conversely, email from somebody you don't know, and maybe that second filter comes after that, right? Maybe that's the first filter. We were talking off the air about the order of filters is important. When you make a filter, you'll notice this. It says you have a choice. After the filter is executed, do you want me to do more filters or do you want me to stop? And so just like your Excel sorts, you can sort once Or you can have another sort after the first sort, and that's another choice in the filters. Learning how to use email filters, I think, is basically vital to being able to continue to use email. Yep. It's such a terrible.
Is there like a YouTube? Is there like a YouTube or something?
No, we should make one. I used to do a show called what was it? Inside Mac?
Hands on Mac.
Hands on Mac.
We do have links that we'll put in the show notes to the mail user guide specifically to the part creating rules, and also Gmail's own guide for creating filters. So those will be in the show notes for you to just pop into directly and be able to see what you can create. But I know you're looking for kind of, here are the top 10 filters that we use.
And it's very specific, of course. I'm wondering if I did a hands-on Mac on this. I talk about it a lot. If I didn't, I should do a special episode, because over the years, in order to make email useful, I get more email than the average bear because, my email address has been around for 20 years and people kind of know. I even have standard responses canned responses I'll send out and all sorts of stuff. It's the only way to do it. But filtering is job one. Absolutely.
And filter is not something I ever even thought about.
Yeah. Well, you're doing it. You're just doing it by hand in the middle of the night.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
There is a rule of thumb with computers. If you do anything more than twice, automate it.
Yeah.
Right? And you're a spreadsheet guy, so you know that. If you do anything more than a few times, it pays to spend the time to make it automatic.
This is great. Great conversation. I love everything you do. I love how unbelievably great you are with all of the callers, and just your attitude, your tonality, and how you treat people is just, it's an inspiration to us all on how to treat people, and I'm grateful for that.
Oh, Glenn, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's very nice of you. Have a great day.
It's true.
Take care.
Too. Thank you.
Well, I'm going to cry now. You better take over, Mikah.
I know, that was very sweet. I got a little choked up too.
Yeah.
On your
it's the best part about doing this show. Anybody who's been using computers for a while and kind of understands how to use computers for a while realizes that most people are stuck with the most complex stuff and have no idea what to do.
Yep.
My computer won't let me download Chrome. What the hell? Or my phone turns off its screen in 6 seconds, and I have so much empathy for people because it is crazy, and it's evolved over time. Sometimes they think people your age, millennials, you grew up with computers, you should have no trouble with it. That's not the case either.
Yeah.
In fact, I would submit, I was talking to an old friend, Richard Hart, who used to do a TV show on CNET about computers, and he's now teaching in college. And I said, your students must be computer literate. He said, no, they're worse, because we started in computers. We had to learn how to use it because we got to figure it out because there was nowhere to go. It wasn't easy.
Right.
Kids today, they grew up, there's
so much obscurity laid over the top.
Yeah, there's so much on top of it. They never get to see underneath the hood. That's why it's great to see somebody 10 years old learning computer programming. That's really exciting. Dick DeBartolo coming up next. So the best part of this, when we got this studio, my thought was going to be this was a storefront, was that we would have people pressing their nose against the window and all that. But what I didn't know, and I would now know, but I didn't know at the time, is because this is a north-facing window. I think it's north-facing. Let me think. No, I'm sorry, west-facing window. That once the sun starts going down, it's shining right in this window. And so we ended up building these portholes to cut down the light, and then it's got these treatments. It's got 3 or 4 layers of treatments. So you can see out,
but people aren't.
But nobody can see in. It just looks like a mirror. So you see people walking by, and they don't know what's going on. Occasionally, people would press their nose against it. But in a way, but still, I like the idea of that. In fact, when we first started using this studio, I did a show from here we call the living room set. And when we first designed this set, I had the chairs, as you would in a normal studio, inside, and the camera's pointing in. And it was too shallow. And somebody said, you just turn it around, have the cameras pointing out, so you have all this depth behind you, which is much more interesting, right? So that's why it's facing this way. But then somebody sent me an email saying, I watched somebody walk by with a spoon in his hand, obviously going to lunch, on the show. And he was very upset.
Wow.
And I said, well, that's the point.
Yeah, people are working in the background. That's actually how we used to do it in the newsroom. The camera faced out towards the newsroom where all of the writers were working. People would get up, get their coffee in the background, and it just was an interesting thing and made everything feel more alive.
That was invented by a Canadian guy named Moses, what's his name?
Moses Maple.
Znamer. It was City TV. I think that was his name. But he founded City TV. It was the first independent station in Canada, in Toronto. And he came up with the concept of the open studio that you see now everywhere. And I actually went up to City TV and took a lot of pictures of the original open studio. When he first set it up, I remember reading about it at the time, every desk had a drop where you could put a camera, lights, everything, like in the floor.
Wow.
So that's why we have those drops all over our studio. And we had them here too, where you could open up the floor and there'd be a camera drop in there so that everything could be wired. And then the other thing, John came up with this rotated. So what you did, and this is how soap operas work, they have sets all around a central camera position. So you can have many sets in one studio, and then you just you rotate, the TD would rotate in this thing around.
That's really cool.
Isn't that awesome?
That's really cool.
And so it gave us this set, which is the round table set. It gave us the living room set over here. You can't see it, but there's a set behind here that has this time tunnel behind it. There's my office is almost identical to this office right there. This is the Tech News Weekly set for the news show, and this was the radio corner. So we had all those sets.
This is how I pictured TWiT looking.
This is how it should look. If those Ponzi schemers hadn't bought the building out from under us. This was the most amazing studio. The only incandescent lights in the whole studio were these. For decorative lights, we had incandescent lights. Oh, the gear light incandescent? Oh, that kept burning out. That was a bad choice. That was just a bad choice. This was Oh, is that it? Was halogen? Okay. This crappy old table we had forever.
That table's funny.
We finally replaced it. I stood on it and danced, and that broke it.
So no.
Burke had to reinforce it. Yeah. But we wanted something funky. I didn't want it to look too... Yeah, right, exactly. Listeners of this program get an ad-free version if they're members of Club TWiT. $7 a month gives you ad-free versions of all of our shows, plus membership in the Club TWiT Discord, a great clubhouse for TWiT listeners. And finally, the TWiT Plus feed, with shows like Stacy's Book Club, The Untitled Linux Show, The GizFizz, and more. Go to twit.tv/clubtwit. And thanks for your support. Upside down, right side up, and everywhere in between, it's Dick DeBartolo, Mad Magazine's maddest writer, and our GizWiz. Hello, Dickie D! Oh, wait a minute. I have a button to push. I'm very lax today. Hello, Dickie D. Welcome.
Thank you. You good? Everything fine there?
Yeah, I think so. It was like 80 degrees yesterday.
Oh, yeah, it was really nice.
Wow. It was beautiful. Summer's here. The time is right for fighting in the streets. Other than that, no. How are things in Disneyland?
Things
I hear
are,
COVID's back.
Okay.
I hear COVID's returning.
Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, I mean, we were down to 1.5%, and now I think it's like back up to 15 or something.
But the hospitalizations aren't yet.
No. That's the one thing, is that hospitalizations have not grown at all.
Oh, I'm not going to.
I guess people who are getting it are vaccinated and are dealing with
mild.
it at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope that's the case. Are people wearing masks again in Manhattan?
Half and half. For a while, people seem not to, but lately I noticed that a lot more people are starting to wear masks.
It's funny. We went through this period of and we're still in this, by the way, where it's over. It's over. It's over.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it comes back. It's not over.
No.
It's very hard.
History repeats itself.
It's very difficult. So Dick always joins us every week to give us an update from Disneyland in Manhattan.
So this is not it's not a wacky gadget. And as a matter of fact, it's from Anchor. So we all like Anchor.
Love Anchor.
So Anchor has started another brand called Anchor Make, and they had an event in New York on Tuesday night to introduce a 3D printer that was going on Kickstarter on Wednesday. And I met with Eric Valines, global head of Anchor Communications, and I said, why are you doing a 3D printer and now? And he said, Anchor's philosophy, and this is kind of interesting, is when a new segment of the consumer market opens, is not jump in with a lookalike product. So like with vacuums, we waited, examined the market, and thought, well, we should get in now because we can do this. And he said, with 3D printers, we kept examining the marketplace, and people didn't like how long it took to set it up, how long it took to print.
You have to calibrate it every time.
Yes, exactly. So we decided we would come in with one you could set up in 10 to 15 minutes, that you could speed the printing up, especially if it was not precision work. You could speed it up 5 to 7 times what's available now. And also we installed an HD camera that is looking at the print job all the time. And if it sees anything go wrong, you can always be watching it. But if it sees something out of line, it stops the printer.
Oh, good.
So it doesn't print.
Yeah,
it doesn't
you can
print
waste a
something
lot
wacky.
of plastic printing.
So
Mr.
I
Potato
said,
Head.
and what's the price? And he said, well, it's going to go on Kickstarter at $4.99.
Wow.
Well, Leo, it went on. And in 3 hours, they had passed $1.5 million. Oh
my gosh!
Now they're up to the $5.99 printer, but they're up to $4.25 million.
Wow!
I have never seen a Kickstarter project run like this.
It's interesting because Anchor's an established company, presumably with resources.
Exactly. Now, this is buy now, get them in October, so I should point that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But people seemed really enamored with this printer and are jumping in and want one.
It's so funny because 3D printing was going to be the next big thing, right? That was years ago.
Yes.
And then everybody got one and realized, this is no fun.
Takes too long.
No.
They break very easily. All sorts of things.
We all love the idea of 3D printed objects if we could make them, and I have quite a few here in the studio, but I think it kind of died out. Well, I'd be interested if this is really all it says it is, yeah?
Well, you know what? I got this. It was very funny because this morning, what was this? Smart Tech Analyst, it's called. 3D printing reached $10.6 billion in 2021. So that's not a bad.
So people are still buying 18, them, huh? All right.
Oh yeah, up to 18%.
I have to point out, this isn't the cheapest 3D printer out there.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
not at all.
And I wonder, does Anchor make stuff, or do they like Belkin label stuff other people make? I don't know.
I do not have the answer to that.
I like Anchor's stuff. I buy a ton of it.
Oh, so do I.
Yeah.
So do I. And when you see the name on it there, you figure,
it's going to be
first of all, they have incredible customer service. People email and say, I bought the thing that you recommended and didn't work right. And he said they replaced it in 3 days.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of value in the name. And it's entirely possible that they go to a company and say, you know what you're building now? We want this done to it. We want this done to it. We want a HD camera put in there. I mean, that's certainly entirely possible.
3D printing is one of those things where there is an industrial use where it's really high end and, people are serious about it. And then there's this hobbyist, and this is at the hobbyist level price, hobbyist stuff where it's just kind of fun and you print things and they look a little funky and 3D printed, but they're, it's cool. You can make your own physical object with a computer.
I know. I have a friend who's like 90, and he went to the dentist and needed a new tooth.
Dentists are using them now. Yeah.
Yes, and the dentist said, "Can you sit here for an hour because I'll print you a new tooth?"
Isn't that amazing? With a printer.
Yeah. But he used the red stuff, so I'm not sure what was up with that.
You want to make sure you use the tooth color plastic.
Yes, the tooth color.
Very
He said,
important.
I was just making party hats, and we didn't have time to change the filaments.
Somebody printed. This is a Dalek from Doctor Who. I'm holding up here. Did you do that, John? Yeah. Oh, this was something on our printer.
We have one.
Oh,
of those?
okay.
Well, we had one. What happened to that,
break?
John? Oh, it was a maker buy. Yeah, probably went with Father Robert to Italy, but now the Pope has his own 3D printer. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool. But after you play with it a little bit, I don't know what you do with it.
No, yeah, I have no use for one.
Yeah,
but
I just want to use it to replace things that break in my home. You know,
knobs.
You've got if you've got a vacuum and the clip breaks or something, those are what I want to use it for.
Yeah.
And if you have old gadgets where a gear goes, just
3D print a gear.
Yeah. So, well, the price now, it's gone up a little bit because they sold out all the $4.99 ones. It's now $5.99.
Right.
And it says you won't get it till November.
Oh, that's been pushed back.
Yeah, that's
then.
been pushed back too. The MSRP will be $759. It might be worth waiting, you know, to see $150 more to see what the reviews say. I don't know. I've had such bad experiences buying stuff on Kickstarter. Have you ever had bought bad stuff?
Well, you know what? I don't think I've ever backed a Kickstarter project.
I had to be cut off because I bought so many. Oh, man. I was such a sucker for everything on Kickstarter that finally I think somebody intervened and said, you know, Leo, probably stop. Don't buy any more things. Dick DeBartolo, if you want to read about it, Dick's got a link. Just go to GizWiz.biz. That's his website, GizWiz.biz. Click the blue button that says the GizWiz visits the tech guy, and you'll see all about it. There's video and stuff about this new Anchor 3D printer. I'm so tempted. You also can play the what the heck. I know. See?
Do it.
No,
we'll have one at the studio.
No, I think you were supposed to tell me stuff.
Oh, sorry. Don't do it.
Dick's also got the What the Heck Is It contest, a chance to win an autographed copy of Mad magazine. Lots of other stuff there at the website, including his podcast, GizWiz.tv. Thank you, Dickie D. Have a great week.
Okay, buddies. See you next week.
See you next week. Thank you, Micah Sargent. Always a pleasure to have Tech Guy 2. I'm going to make you answer more calls.
Sounds good.
Next time, it's all Micah all the time. Because that's the goal. We want to get you up to speed so I can take a time off or something. Thank you all for being here. Thanks to Jeremiah for being our musical director today. Kim Schaffer, our phone angel. Thanks most of all to you for listening. We really appreciate it. Have a great Geek Week. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWiT, TWiT. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on MacBreak Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.